Let's go.
But what I'm talking about is like
For us.
when we look in the, you ever stare in the mirror for a long time?
Yeah.
What's the longest you stared in the mirror? Like it's the weirdest shit.
Maybe like 5 whole minutes.
Yeah, to the point where you see a different face.
I don't know about that exactly.
Try it one day. Like just meditate, sit in front of a mirror.
That's one thing. I don't feel like I ever meditate because for me, I have to I take notes every morning.
So
I take about like 10, 15 minutes and just write down my entire week. And then every morning I reevaluate and like revise it.
It's funny because when it comes to meditating, your thought process is the same as mine. Like I have to learn mine I have to hear concept and then I put a structure for myself to understand and then I put it back out there as a concept. Okay. So when it comes to meditating, first it came to me as like mumbo jumbo magic, like oh shit, you know, like oh, how do you even that doesn't make sense. Yeah. So putting it into a process now, it's this. Imagine just sitting down and, you know, just basically like meditating is the point for you to live in the moment. The way you clear your mind is you're not thinking. Right. The way you're not thinking is to the point where you hear something. Yeah. But you don't process it as something.
Noise. You don't hear it as noise. You hear it as like white noise. It's just there.
No. That's the thing. It's like it's just there, but you don't tune it out. That's the thing that we do. Is we like to process it and tell ourselves it's something. Okay. But in meditation, once you get to that point where it's like you hear this, you know, it goes from the AC and whatever. Yeah. Your thought process has gone so fast where you hear everything at once, but it's just everything in the world is just vibration. Okay. Everything is a frequency. Right. Light is a frequency. Sound is a frequency. Everything that we perceive, sense is a frequency. Okay. Which is the same as life. It's just up and down frequency, right? Right. And then this is how we interpret it. It's how we live. Yeah. So what meditation does is from the smallest frequency, let's say of just sound. Yeah. Or sight. Okay. You're supposed to just take it in as a frequency. Okay. So the way, like we were talking about flow. Yeah. You know, you go up and down. Like, you go happy, you go sad. Right. You can't have happy if you don't have sad. You can't be, like, you'll never go be sad if you were never happy. Right. I completely agree with that. Yeah. So just like with sound is just like music. It's a series of silence and noise. I like to say it's the interpretation of the frequencies, and then you have to figure out your own balance. It's context. Yeah. Well, it's perspective. Everything comes out as context, but everything is literally just frequency. Right. So what meditation is, taking out the context. Okay. So now this. Yeah, you hear it as it is and not anything else. It's just sound, and then you listen. Detachment. You detach everything. And that idea, like, there's no name. Right. Naming is attaching something. Yeah. So you live in the moment, you feel this weird sensation as it makes you free because you are not yourself anymore. You're part of this bigger cog of everything. Right. You're not the center of the universe anymore. You're just a piece of the puzzle in the universe. Well, that's the thing. It's not. You are the universe. Think about it. I am the universe. Yeah. Like a lot of people say this. Huh? I don't know. Well, like this. There's a quote that I read the other day where it's like, enlightenment. Enlightenment is when the wave finally figures out that it's the ocean. Okay. The wave was never a part of it. Right. It's never been separate. Right. It is. Yes. So let's say being here, we think of empty spaces as nothing, but actually, this empty space right here has air molecules, whatever, atoms, whatever. Yeah. You're literally connected all the way to anything, to the moon, to the sun. There's always something in between. There's particles. Okay. Me touching, let's say the shoe. My shoe's touching something, the floor. The floor's touching the ground. Right. The ground's touching everything in the world. Right. And the world's touching everything that, let's say air, sky, everything is actually touching each other. True. So, like we said, it's not much being part of the thing anymore. You are the thing. Right. In a perspective. Yeah. You are a perspective of this thing. That's why to detach is to let go of your perspective. Okay. Yeah. Yeah,
I get that.
Yeah, you just flow.
I feel like I try to explain the same thing, but then
no. It's like for you, it's like we're very much alike in that concept where
right. We have the same understanding, but you
have to break it down in your manner to
right.
For you to understand.
I have my own spin on it.
Yeah, which is cool shit.
All right, let me introduce you. I feel like we're on live. All
right, the whole time?
Well, not the whole time, but for like a little bit.
Oh, cool.
For your entire thing. I love it. So let's break it down. 3, 2, 1, go. Yeah. Welcome back to the catch up, where this is exactly where I feed my curiosity.
Yes.
I got the homie John Raymundo.
Raymundo. You heard me for the last couple of episodes randomly?
Yes. This is the guy that I definitely wanted on here.
I was watching it. I was like, my name came up a couple times.
Yeah. You got the hype. You got the hype.
Don't hype me, man. I'm just John. So, you know.
Damn. Like, I can say a lot. Like, we went to high school together.
Yes.
We barely spoke.
Yep. Most definitely. I was a weird kid, man. I was in the VAC. I was I was an art kid that played football. That happened to end up just being. I was everywhere, but I was not part of anything.
This is like a reoccurring theme in our group because I definitely talked about this with Rob, and that's what I admire about him.
Yeah, it's just like he could be like I was part of everything, but I've never owned any of those groups. You know?
Right. You just like to be a part of. Like, not really like you like to be a part of it, you were just a part of it because of you or you.
Yeah, it's funny because in high school, I was still closest to like Carlos, like in middle school.
Yeah.
Middle school friend?
You're like the OG group.
Yeah, so when I was there, I was like, I let go of the idea of like, oh, I can't make new friends. And, like,
right.
And I was just like, that was just me growing up. Like,
I did the same thing. Like, for me, my transition was elementary school to middle school.
Yeah.
Like, I had all the Highland kids.
Yeah.
So we were like the thugs, the good kids. When I went to Newport, it was like, oh, there's this white school. You can't be friends with them. They're different.
Exactly.
But I was like in the GT classes, so then I was mixed in with them. And I felt the segregation immediately.
Yeah.
But then I was like, these are just people. Like, I like meeting new people.
Yeah. Like, the thing is, that didn't hit me until later on the years when I met literally like you guys and Rob. And
that was college. Yeah, because what I remember, the reason why I met you is from Lauren.
Yep.
Lauren just told me it was just like, hey, John needs a job.
Yeah, Lauren.
And I think she saw that I was a manager at Noodles, and I was like, oh, sure. Just tell them to apply and hit me up.
Yeah, Lauren is a big part of my life. It's like 5 years in there. But, it comes with the good and the bad, but most definitely in the bigger picture. Like, I was watching the Dave Chappelle stand-up the other day.
Which one?
The newest one that came out.
I haven't seen that yet.
You got to see it. He said something that was, I learned to be a student of everything, and there's always something you could learn from anything.
He's actually from here? Like,
yep, Silver Spring.
I didn't know that. He went to SSI? Middle school. He went to SSI middle school, and I was reading I was listening to some commentary about him. Yeah. Like, the reason why he stands out so much is because he never fell into the crowd where, how all comedians say I was broke, I was that. Yeah. I'm rich, blah, blah, blah. Or he didn't talk about that. He's like, I'm middle class. I'm going to talk about my middle class problems.
Yeah, it was himself, and that's something we could touch on later, but that's something I talked, with Rob about, and when it's about being like art. There's a lot of misconception as art as your creativity, and people can be taught art. But art on its own is literally just self-expression without judgment of anything outside.
Yes.
Social, so that is art.
I agree. There's different philosophies in it that I can go into after you go.
Yeah, because where it really got me was I was watching one of these Netflix shows, I forgot, but there's a martial arts part into it, and this guy was like, Kung Fu. A lot of people misconception of Kung Fu.
Jackie Chan, Jet Li, Bruce Lee.
As a martial art, it's the way flashy for you to defeat and beat up somebody.
Right.
Especially like training under Sifu, which that guy was here last couple episodes ago. I'm not sure, but Sifu. Yeah, I learned a lot.
Jimmy Nolte.
Yes, he's Sifu.
Check him out. I think he's number 5, episode 5.
He most definitely opened my mind to things. But there's this one part of that show where this guy said, the thing with Kung Fu is a lot of misconception of Kung Fu, which I believe is misinterpretation of West to the Eastern like
martial arts.
Yeah. No. Like Eastern philosophy, Eastern wording.
Just philosophy in general. Okay,
wording. You get lost with words. Like we interpret Eastern language differently here.
Yeah.
So one thing he said was like...
Not to interrupt you real quick, but then I always felt like with Eastern philosophy, it was more like finding the meaning behind words. And then the Western philosophy is more like defining the word.
Yeah.
Like if you say like...
Yeah. Eastern, I noticed it's more feeling the word. It's what you feel. They have a certain...
They take the meaning, no matter how you say it. Like if you're saying like, I'm okay. Like you can tell by looking at me, like I might be actually down, even though I say okay. But if I say, I'm okay.
Yeah. It's
I'm
again,
literally
back to context.
But then if you actually just say I'm okay, like okay, then you just pass it by on the Western like philosophy. On Eastern, you actually kind of dig deep.
Yeah, and then actually I was talking to Rob about this last night. I was telling him about words. Like you communicate with people.
Yeah.
One thing that we do is words doesn't mean anything other than until there's context.
Right.
So I was watching, you listened to Alan Watts the other day.
Yes and no. To play devil's advocate.
Like this, it's, let's say this. I'm taking the bark out of a tree.
Right.
I'm taking the bark out of a dog.
Yeah.
Two different meanings.
Right.
But in context,
the same word.
It only means something because of a context.
Yes.
So let's say bark, like...
Bark the skin of a tree, the outer coat of the
context.
Tree.
So when it comes down to
noise,
that, it's very subjective.
Yeah.
So let's say this. Your good could be my bad.
Yes.
What's good to you could be bad to me.
Right. Everyone's balance is different.
So it's very subjective. So it's a perspective.
Yeah.
So that's when it comes down to what we're talking about. Like, in the Western world, we like to define things.
Yeah.
To put a...
single meaning.
Yeah. Just so that we try to put everyone on the same page, but...
It's hard.
The issue with that is...
There's different cultures.
It's not how we feel.
I feel like it's almost like communism, the way that the Western is. Like, they want everything to be a specific meaning and only that meaning.
Yeah,
But it's contradictory because, like you just said, bark and bark.
Yeah, it's
two different things, but the same word.
And that's just meaning by words, by context. And that's taken away of the meaning of how I say things.
Yeah.
Let's say, like, oh, man, I'm so mad at you. Or like, dude, I'm fucking mad at you.
Right.
I'm sorry, but...
No, that's cool.
There's a difference, it's... that's also taken away body language.
Right.
And so I think there's always... When we try to label things, like... If we don't understand it in the Western world, we think of it as magic.
Yeah.
And then we put, like, since we don't understand it, we don't like it. We don't like the meaning, then we're just like, you know what? It's not for me, So let's say the best thing...
It's okay to say no. I think that's the hardest part for Western philosophy.
That's the thing, which makes us close-minded. Like, this way of thinking, of like labeling things, it's a very close-minded way of thinking. Yeah. If it's not right...
if it's not right, it's wrong. But not really.
Well, that's the thing, once you label something right, there has to be a wrong.
Right. But then there's also, I don't know what the in-between, the intermediate of right and wrong. I know black and white is gray, but...
well, that's when you go back to being in the moment,
Yeah, I can
it's
say
like,
that.
Like I said, like, your good could be my bad, but in the moment, is there really a good or bad? It's just an action.
Right.
It's just the meaning in the moment. You feel things in the moment.
Right.
So, like, when it comes to feeling things, it's the way, like we were talking about it earlier, like, we process things the same way where we have to put it in the way we'd understand it.
Right.
So, dimensional stuff. We see in 2 dimensions.
Okay.
You feel like you see in 3 dimensions, but science-wise, you actually see in 2 dimensions. But your mind processes it in a way where if you could see in 3 dimensions, you could see behind this bottle the same exact way.
But I have depth perception.
You have depth perception, but it's your mind processing 2-dimensional. It's like I could draw something,
right?
And I can make it feel like it's 3D, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just part of. Yeah, it's just our the way evolution goes.
Okay.
We translated to 3 dimensions. 3 dimensions is actually how your ear works.
Okay.
You don't know up, down, left, right until your balance part of your ear.
Right. When you're a baby, you just
it's balanced.
Things just come into you. And
3-dimension is up, down, left, right, front, back.
Right.
You don't know how that feels if you're like that part of your
sensory perception.
Yeah, so around you, right?
Yeah.
So that's 3 dimensions. 2 dimensions you see. 1 dimension is touch.
So explain that again.
When you every sense you have is supposed to have like a certain we have sensing a dimension.
Oh, okay, so like the 5 senses.
Yeah, like, and plus more than that. If you look it up, there's like a 6. We have more than that. Yeah, okay. It's Vsauce is cool. I don't know. You get to. I'm one of those people who's just super. Vsauce? Vsauce, you're gonna love it. You're gonna look it up after this. Okay. Just give them a shout out. But all right. Think about it this way.
I'll put a link somewhere. I don't know.
They're just let's just go back to those 3, right? So you see in 2 dimensions. You move in 3 dimensions. You feel around you in 3 dimensions. I
forgot what that word is, but sure. I know. Yeah.
So, touching. But touch is 1 dimensional. Okay. And this this made me think while I was watching actually Vsauce was, like learning Guanjio. We like to go A to B as fast as we can. Right. I'd like to, like, let's say in fight-wise, A to B. I got to get there. So, you came to our class before, like, you've seen it. Yeah. And talking to Sifu and stuff. But also, if you notice, we also do, like, in Wing Chun, this Chi Sao stuff, like sensitivity drills. Yeah. Is because it's very one-dimensional. Like, that's the quickest way for your body to react to something. Okay. With touch. Yeah. So it becomes... If you feel something sharp... Instinctual. You move, right? Yeah. That's the closest thing to your instinct. Right. So you feel something sharp. Right. You move. Right. You see something sharp. You look at it first. You process it. You think about if it's dangerous. It could be a split second, but you're just like, okay. But if I point something sharp at you, your body will like, oh.
It's an interesting concept. Like I think I was listening to somebody else. It's like it's almost like ingrained in us for some other things. Like maybe when we're babies we don't do this, but then if we like look at the stove, we naturally just don't touch it. Yep. Because we already know that it's hot. It could be like possibly hot.
Anything with fire, it's like, it's just.
I'm thinking of the electric ones, like the induction one. Like it looks like it, so you don't even play with it. Yeah. You don't even take a chance.
You feel the heat.
Right. No, but then instinctually you don't even touch it because just by looking at it, you know that's a high risk.
Yeah, and that's actually another thing. One thing that I was watching. If I figure it out, I'll send it to you. But it's actually your pain receptor is another. It's a sense. Okay. It's not just 5 senses. Like pain reception.
Wouldn't that be a part of touch though? No.
Touch it's more like a feel.
Okay. Oh, feel.
Like touch is,
But then you could also feel that. Like you can feel heat waves.
You feel pain afterwards. But I'm not an expert at anything. I'm just something I took from Sifu and I'm actually practicing as just being that forever student. Okay.
Trying to just explain our perspectives on certain things.
Learn, but that I don't know, just that touch is just one dimensional. It's the fastest way to get to things. Yeah. So even if I put, let's say, me and you, we don't know how to say you speak a different language. Okay. But if I go like this, you grab my hand, we shake hands.
Like we understand. It's now universsal.
Yeah, but not just that. You feel how I feel. You could feel malicious intent.
Like squeezing.
I'm like this and I'm just like,
But some people do that as like, or some people are real gentle, that little dead fish type of whatever handshake. So you can understand like, it's more like body language when you say.
Yes, it is basically, but it's just that touch part, that feel part that it's different. Which
I know you're real. You're not a hologram.
you
speaking toward the future.
Yeah, you can just feel how somebody is. Yeah, it's just very interesting. Like, let's say this, like, you're going out, like, let's say, we go down dates, right? Yeah. There's talking. There's that part where it's just like, oh, crap, this sucks. You gotta talk, Like, I guess, for you it's different. I'm very, I'm more,
why can't we just move? Let's do activities.
Well, it's funny. Like, I've checked this out. Just like, let's say, when I go out on a date, like, meet somebody new or start talking to someone. Yeah. There's talking, but that words without context it's very hollow. It's like, I could tell you, oh yeah, that's cool.
Especially when you don't know the person, so you have to kind of like find their language.
Yeah, and if you could, I could ask you, are you comfortable? Are you cool? And you'd be like, oh yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, but then they're still like
but shaky. If you meet someone the first time and you give them a hug, and they give you a hug, and it feels comfortable, you're never gonna ask that question, right? Right. Because there's a certain
it's just a feeling.
Yeah. So I don't even know how we got into this feeling conversation right now. But
you said Vsauce.
Because I was
talking about sensory. We talked about senses.
Okay,
that's what I remember.
There was a reason why we went to senses, but I'm just gonna go to the beginning where we went basically art as a self-expression. Yeah. Okay. Because I was telling you I was watching that Netflix show. This dude was talking about Kung Fu, right?
Okay.
So Kung Fu, there's a misconception of Kung Fu as to destroy someone.
Yeah, fighting, trying to defeat your enemy.
So this guy's line was...
Was it like a documentary?
What? No, it was just a show, but it was very interesting. He was like, let's say somebody who does pottery, for him to, to make the pottery over and over 1,000 times, and he makes a masterpiece every time.
Right.
That is his Kung Fu. Say, as a chef,
okay,
you cook something over and over and over and over. And it's your expression.
I would say that is art.
That is your Kung Fu. Well, that's the thing.
Yeah.
We perceive Kung Fu as martial art, but the way they perceive it is really as self-expression as art. It's just as, let's say, like a subcategory. So I figured out why we got two senses now. Don't worry.
Go ahead.
Sure. But
I'm flowing with it.
Yeah, man, be the flow. It's it goes all over the place, but it goes up and down. And,
so what were you saying? Or because self-expression, or are you talking about art? Like which one?
That's the thing. Everything lands on that. If you take away what society wants from you, it's pure self-expression as art, as Kung Fu, as because there's we were talking about the miscommunication between Eastern philosophy and Western. Okay. Very definitive and just feeling.
Right. Okay. This makes me segue to like, I feel like with us, because we understand this, it's. I learned this big word. It's called esoteric.
Yeah. Oh, it's a very esoteric way of thinking.
Right, because it's to us it's very clear, but to explain it's really hard for someone who doesn't know, who doesn't feel the same way. But this is the main reason why I feel like I don't care what other people think when I do certain things.
Yeah, it's when you're in the zone, like
when you're playing sports, when you're all in, and you know your goal, you know what you have to do. If you have all the things set for you and you have it clear in your mind, there's nothing stopping you. Like there's no way that you would like doubt yourself.
Yeah.
So I feel like nowadays, probably another big reason why I do the podcast is for like the people, the 18 and 25, the college, the transition from high school to college. It's like they don't know what the real world is. And I find like I'm meeting a lot of college kids who just graduated college who have a hard time finding a job. Is like they don't know what to do now because they've always had that set schedule of class, home, maybe work.
It's like what everybody else wanted for them, but it's not not really.
No one has ever asked them what they actually wanted.
Yeah, it's like if I had the opportunity for someone to ask me like, so it's not just learn this. It's like, how would you like to learn and who would you like to learn from?
Right.
It'd be a different story, you know. It's
'cause a lot of people don't know how they learn best, or like what motivates them to do things, or how do they learn? How you learn, and that's how we got. I feel like that's how I got in, or with Rob, the personality, the Myers-Briggs personality test, the zodiac signs.
It's just like it's so cool to just learn everything, but the hardest part is to unlearn everything.
Right.
So it's part of you. It's
to learn everything, but not take them for verbatim.
Yeah.
Everything is just a guideline.
Yeah, it's a reference. It's you might be able to understand this. Sifu gave me this as it's almost like a freaking those Zen riddles. He was like,
what?
I think Bruce Lee has this too, but he goes, a punch, when you first learn how to punch, a punch is just a punch.
Right.
The moment you study how to punch, there's a lot of intricate movements of how to punch.
Yes.
Little, techniques, and
subtleties.
how it works and how you could, like basically distribute all that power straightforward.
Right.
Once you're doing that, it's not a punch anymore. It's all this like
it's a movement.
Anatomy, it's science, it's physics, it's everything.
It's an art. It turns into an art.
Yeah. But to master something is to put it back to just being a punch.
Yes. No, I completely agree. To me, I go through this issue on almost a daily basis with my clients to teach them a squat, a bench press, and a deadlift. Yeah. Like everyone just thinks, oh, a deadlift, you just pick the bar up off the ground. Oh, a squat, you just bend your knees, get down, come back up. Oh, I forgot what was a bench press. Bring the bar down, bring it back up. Yeah. But then once I break down the intricacies of it and at proper form so you don't hurt yourself or to prevent yourself the most
after
efficient way,
a couple of times,
then they're like, Wow.
Yeah.
And it takes some people some certain time, especially if they never like ask those questions themselves, like how do I actually do this? Whether they just follow their instincts.
Yeah.
I have a client who's been doing this for a year, like on one movement. And like it's night and day from last year to this year.
Dang.
Yeah. And then by teaching it too, I think that's when you really know you can do it. Because he started teaching one of my clients, he has a wife.
And he taught him.
Yeah, and he taught her, and he's like, oh, now I'm picking up faster because now I have to teach it.
Yeah, and this is where it comes to, again, back to learning all this stuff is Sifu again. It's to teach is to learn.
Right.
You don't you learn more by teaching.
Yes. Like
when I go to the class, I go to the other day, I'm in a Sifu's class in 6 months. I come in to the point where Sifu comes in. When I came in, Sifu, I'm joining class today. Yeah. I was like, I just want to get back in that vibe. I want to get back in the energy.
Right.
And his first instinct was to be like, he was like, hey guys, my prodigal son has come back. He's teaching class today. Man, I looked at him like, what? I was like, okay. But man, it
made you relearn everything.
It's not much relearning everything. It got deeper.
It refreshed your memory.
Well, it got deeper from what I knew already.
Right.
It's
you actually had a critical think.
Well, the more you teach someone, it's I know you've had that feeling for now you're not just teaching what you learned, you're teaching what you understand.
Right.
It's not what you know anymore. You're teaching what you understand.
You're teaching concepts.
And getting back to understanding it's literally like a cycle, what do you call that? Yeah, you just get deeper into, let's say one subject.
Yeah.
Every time you teach it, you just get deeper into it to your understanding.
Right.
The more you teach, the deeper you get.
Yes.
So who's the teacher and who's the student? It's a very interesting concept.
Yeah, then it comes to, like we said earlier, the Western philosophy where it has to be labeled, like you're the teacher, you're the student, you're the submissive, you're the expert. Right. But not really. Everyone should be...
Yeah.
One thing that really caught my eye was when I was taking art class at MC. My professor taught me the word dichotomy.
Yep.
And the way he explained art to me, by using that word dichotomy, the balance of something, of two extremes, that made so much sense to me.
Yeah, it's...
the reason why things are beautiful is because we've seen the bad. Or why something's so bad is because we've been there with the good.
Yep.
And we can't have one without the other. Or we can't find the balance and find it unique unless
there's one. The moment you label something as good or bad,
right.
It's going back. I like putting back the concept I learned also. As an artist, I'm an art education major. Goes back to the relationship between the subject and the background.
Okay.
It comes to photography, it comes to digital media or anything. Mm-hmm. If let's say I want, let's say this right now we're looking at it is a portrait.
Yeah.
We don't really exist as people if there's no background.
Yeah.
But at the same time, that background don't exist if we're not in the foreground.
Right. That would be the subject if we weren't here.
It wouldn't even be a subject.
That's true. Because there's depth.
Because then the thing is, I'm talking about just what I mean background, it's just gonna be nothing.
Right. I'm saying
back to your dichotomy. It's,
right.
It's funny because the way this video is going is gonna be the best. It's it's just the fact that there's always just two things in the world, and just going back to learning with Taoism and all that stuff.
Could you define Taoism?
You can't.
No.
It's just a thing. It's the way. It's just literally the Tao means the way.
Tao is the way. Okay.
Yeah, Tao.
And what language is that?
I'm guessing Chinese.
So is what Sifu said. Okay.
Yeah. So
right. I'm asking questions.
Yeah, it's like Jeet Kune Do. Do
is
Tao is basically the same. It's the way.
The way. Yeah.
Yeah. Jeet Kune Do is the
way of the light.
No, the way. No. Jeet Kune Do is Bruce Lee. It's the way of intercepting fists. Sifu is Guanji Do. Is the way of the light. So Do meaning the way of something, right? So this concept, doing research with.
So I would assume Taekwondo, Tai is kick.
I'm not too sure. I'm
just trying to put things together,
Sorry. But, doing research in Taoism though, some of the monks who learn Taoism, that's where Tai Chi and stuff started.
Uh-huh.
It's you flow things. So but you the only way
flow,
you
the way of the flow.
Yeah, so the way you beat hard is being soft, but the way you beat soft is by being hard.
Yeah.
Going back to what you said, it's dichotomy.
Right.
That's the thing about dichotomy. It's you flow, you go up and down. So basically, everything in the world is only separated because we've labeled everything at this point.
Right.
Which is what complicates life, really, if anything. To discard labeling, to discard separation, there's an illusion of separation of everything.
Okay.
So to discard all that, that's what we were talking about earlier. It's just being part, not even part. It's just being the universe.
Right.
We just have a perspective of it.
Yeah.
So, going through after learning this, there's always, to me, it's always just a rule of two.
Okay.
You either are or you're not.
But you can be in the middle?
You can. It's being in the middle. There is a void, but you won't enjoy anything. Let's say this, good and bad.
Okay.
There is a void in there.
Right.
But there's no life in there.
Okay. Oh.
Life is a series of up and down.
Okay, elaborate.
Because I feel back to our watch.
We were just we were just talking about how there is a middle, but then you're just saying now there's not. So.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. There is a middle.
Okay, but there's no life there.
What
do you mean by no life?
There's no growth. It's how can you be happy if you can't be sad?
Okay,
you can't be sad if you can't be happy.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
It's weird. There's no you can't define the middle.
Yeah.
But the middle is to be that flow.
Right.
If that makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah, you can't be. There's no line. Again, labeling good or bad.
You're on your way up, or you're on your way down.
No, you just are the up and down. You're part of it now.
But that's saying in the void, being in that middle, you're either going up, because there is a transitional process between being sad and happy. So you can be happy from being completely depressed. Yeah. But then there's a gradual process. I'm just saying that's the void. So there is the void, but then you are kind of happy. But then there's levels to this shit.
Yeah. The deeper, the happier you are, the sadder you can get.
Right.
So it's weird. Just talking about that void part. It's again, you can't label it. That's why you're asking about what can you define? No, I can't. Honestly, I have no idea. I can't say I'm an expert in these things. But it just it feels right. It doesn't even make sense in an ego way where I think about it. Okay. It just makes sense in my gut instinct that it is
Yeah.
When you're in your worst moment, there's always that feeling at this point you're rock bottom.
Yeah.
Anything could happen. It'll be good for you.
Right.
But when you're at the top of the mountain, there's also that moment where you're I could just fall off this mountain anytime.
Honestly, I have a big question in my head, to most people, is I feel like most people are afraid of success. That's why people don't ever shoot for the stars or shoot for their main goal, because they're afraid once they get there, they get lost. Yeah. Everyone always says oh, I wish I had $1 million. I wish I had $1 million. But then if you really ask them, what would you do with that $1 million once you get it? And they do I think the common question when I ask that question is the common answer is I'll help my family, I'll buy a house, and then maybe something personal a car or something fancy jewelry, a watch, or something like that.
Trying to satisfy their happiness.
Their material goals. But then, okay, what are you gonna do after that? Yeah. Then they're silent. Yeah. They just go completely blank. Because I feel with you and I would have something. Not I guess I won't speak for you, but then I feel I would do something to kind of give back. I would probably keep doing this, to be honest. Yeah. I would love just to keep meeting new people, talking to them, and then putting it out there to be able to show other people the experiences of other people. So I always thought the hardest thing was try to get into the psychology or try to dig deep into someone, try to get to know somebody. Yeah. We can always meet someone at a party, let's go drink and then take shots, and then but you don't really know that person. Exactly. You just know they drink vodka with you or jungle juice
until you feel for them, right?
Yeah. Until you actually break down and just drop all your barriers and actually get to know somebody. Yeah. So I feel I'm giving them a little shortcut by doing this. Because these are the conversations I feel I don't hear out loud. These are conversations we have behind closed doors, but I feel like should be open to majority of people.
Yeah, it should be, but the best way to do it is for them to be part of it.
Right.
It's you. Again, it's back to that feeling again. It's like that one-dimensional, like, once you're here, you feel it, And, okay, let's go back to, when people are scared of success.
Yeah.
Like, fear is just a part of the ego. Fear is, like, you've heard that all over the place where, like, the only thing to fear is fear itself. Yes. Which is true, because every fear comes back to one thing.
I had someone who has no clue what that means, but I love it.
Because you're just like everything else. We have one thing that we like to label to 20 different things. Right. So a good example is fear. Yeah. No one can explain fear. Like, a lot of people can explain fear, but they will explain what they're scared of. Like, let's say arachnophobia, there's all these phobias, right?
Yeah, fear of heights.
And everybody got different things. But if you go to the very root of that, fear is just a fear of what comes next.
Yes. Yes.
Yep. So
I feel like, for me, I kind of got it with Sifu, is the fear of not being in control.
Yeah, because you don't know what comes after.
Right.
I've been dealing with that issue, actually. We're basically really close to this. Like, we have the same mentality.
I want to just add that real quick, that John and I have the same birthday. Yep. You're 2 years older than me.
Yeah, yep.
So I guess I'll just throw it out there. April 23rd. April 23rd is our birthday, but he's 2 years older than me. But we think almost exactly the same. Like, we understand the same thing.
We have the same understanding,
but we just have different ways of getting there.
We are in the opposite side of, what do you call this? Let's say we're in the opposite side of the plane. Like, let's say this is a plane right here.
Okay.
It's the same plane. Bryan we understand this plane. Yeah. But the thing is, Bryan's here, and I'm on this side. Yeah. But it's yeah. I don't know how to explain it, but that's the best way I could explain it. It's like,
it's like, to me, I put it as, I drive a Mazda, and then John can say, I drive a black car. Yeah. It's both correct. Like, it's still a car, but I call it a Mazda. He calls it a color. Yep. So that, I guess that's my reference to put an example.
We could go to what you said earlier. You learned the word esoteric. Yeah, when it comes down to things, you're a very detailed type of person.
Yeah.
You tell me things in detail. That. Yeah. Yep. And for me, you could explain something.
You like detail. Feelings.
Yep. I feel things like I could.
Like, sometimes
I process more in an esoteric way, an ideal way, in a concept. Yeah. And you're more into this detailed way of doing things. Yes. But coming back to dichotomy. Right. A concept cannot exist without the details. Yeah. The details build to the concept. So right. Same thing. We just happen to understand each other in a weird way.
Yeah. So. Like, we both always we come to the same agreement on things, but we just explain it completely different. So when you explain it, you feel like I don't understand. Yep. Like, I understand, but it's just I don't think
you have to process it in your way.
Yeah. So this is the way I think, and I feel like that's one thing. The biggest issue with, like, relationships, with, like, arguments in general, just miscommunication. Because we can be on the same page, but you could be at the top and I could be on the bottom. Yep. That'd be another thing. Like, in a book. Yep. We're still reading the same page. We're reading the same book. It's just we're on two different wavelengths at the moment. But then it's really easy. Like, okay, I'll wait for you. Then we can meet at wherever I am, or I can meet you where you are. I can go back to where you are.
Yep. And that's...
Damn, that was good. That was a good one.
Yeah, that's the best thing about life, because, it starts off once you're aware of that. Mm-hmm. It's, as a concept, it applies to everybody that you know. Yeah. Because you actually...
Because we're all just living beings.
Yeah, we all relate, like, back to being just one. You are it. Like, this is you. Yeah. We just have different perspectives. That's why once I got that, like, that's why I really appreciate my friendship with you, Rob. We guys are all different. We're all different people. Right.
But we find our similarities in a way. We find the same path, kind of. How would you do it? How would you say it?
I would say
we understand life. No, I wouldn't say understand life.
No, it's more...
We understand how to live.
We're just so different. Yeah. We're walking parallel paths to the same...
I like to think of
like
Drake. Because when he says live life,
yeah,
like I feel like we all understand that.
Yeah.
Even though we would define it or explain it differently.
I call it going dough.
Yeah.
I
said life.
Talk about that all the time.
Oh, no. On my Snapchat, I put views.
Yeah. I call it going dough, and it's something that me and Rob, I think Candy's got into it too.
Yeah.
Going dough. Man, that came from, what do you call this? Learning.
I want to say that's from Terrence. Yeah, that's from martial art. I don't really hang. I met Terrence, but I haven't really like learned from him, I guess.
Yeah.
But, I didn't get it.
Yeah, ninjutsu stuff. Like,
right.
And the thing is, I'm all over the place, man. I love anime. I watch sports. I do art. I do martial arts. I manage a restaurant. Like, I'm all over the place. And my thing was, where's the common goal for all of them? So it's just a background for me, by the way.
We met at Noodles.
This is exactly why this.
I started as a shift manager. Yeah. He started as an ambassador. He went up to be a GM. Yeah. I left as a shift manager after 3.5 years. Because
it's funny because this video is gonna make so much sense later. It's just
this is the main reason why I think you're like the biggest tie to everybody for some reason. Like putting us together, I feel like we have like almost the greatest chemistry of what I have yet right now.
I guess going back to that. We're going back to me, you, Rob, Kenny.
Okay.
You're saying it's same path, or we live life, or for me, I call it going dough. Mm-hmm. It's following your instinct regarding the fact that society might think it's weird.
Right.
But what puts us together is we all are actually in parallel paths.
Yeah.
To the same place.
Same goal.
To being one again. To being one with where we're supposed to be.
We're all going to the same finish line. We're trying to reach the same finish line.
That's the funniest thing, because we like to put labels on our finish line. I could tell you right now, your goals are different from my goals.
Right.
That's just in this earthly manner.
In our own perspective. Like, for me, training, I want to train my clients. I want to make them happy. You want to keep your team happy so you can make more money at Noodles. And manage
martial arts, I'm just a big education person. Like, I'm an art education major.
Yeah.
When I coach football, it was fun for me because of the teaching.
Yeah.
Martial arts, I get to train people.
And I would say this is where you can break it down to levels.
Yeah.
Like on the very surface level, we're just two guys just trying to be happy.
In concept, it's like
the deeper you go, it's more like, okay, this is my job, this is what I have to do.
So that's just the detail.
This is what makes me happy, yeah.
So this is the best part is like, again, we're on parallel paths.
Right.
Most of us are in this parallel path to the same goal of just actually
surviving. I want to say
it's weird.
That's like the very basic.
I could tell you surviving, but surviving is a very ego way of thinking. It's surviving is for yourself. It is a thing. It's hard to detach that.
Right.
But honestly, like even looking at you where you want to go as a person, as you, not as where you think you want to go.
Right.
It's this this whole sumo lifts thing, this whole personal training thing.
Yeah.
It's you want to affect the future.
Right. Yes. That's very true.
And Rob's the same way, Kenny's the same way, Sifu's the same. Everyone in this, we don't even know it yet.
I said this on when I'm about to edit for my next one, before this one. Yeah. I just said, I want to leave the world better than when I was here.
Okay, coming back to this.
Okay.
Well, going to this, actually not coming back.
Okay.
I was saying come back because I was thinking of this while I was driving earlier.
Nice.
I like to practice meditation everywhere, even if I'm distracted. It's
ESP.
like I was thinking. I was thinking of legacy. Right? Yeah.
No.
A lot of people try to leave the world with their legacy.
Okay.
Like you hear legacy like royalty. So like, I want to leave a legacy. I want to leave my name.
Right.
It's the idea of like, why be so selfish to leave a legacy of yourself? I was driving. I was like, legacy. Okay, what do I leave? Because like, honestly, a lot of people like to ignore this, but we all come and go. Just like it's life. You go up and down.
Right.
You live and we pass away.
That's how I got into Stoicism. Not to cut you off, but it's the phrase memento mori.
Yeah.
To know that you're mortal.
Yep.
And then that, like, everyone has a different definition of that. Where, YOLO, because I'm gonna die. Yeah. I'm gonna die, so I'm gonna have to be careful.
Yeah, it frees you from a lot of things. Yeah.
Right, but then I feel like people. I always go back to this one saying. I'm gonna say issue, conflict, is people associate their opinions with their identity.
Yep.
And so like it's like what we're talking about. It's the inability to detach themselves from a certain situation, and I feel like that's the best way to mitigate or minimize an argument.
Yep.
And it's really just all about communication.
Yep. If actually, like I do this all the time at work. Secret when you're actually managing other things, there's always gonna be someone to oppose whatever you need. Yeah. There's always one person, at least one person.
In terms of like running the restaurant or like a
just let's say life-wise, like leading a team.
Okay.
Biggest thing in the world is change. Change is always going to happen.
Yes.
It's like again.
That's going to cause friction.
Change is back again to what we're talking about. You go good and bad, good and bad. Mm-hmm. It's a concept, but I think it's that concept too. Again, you like
people get complacent.
So you were talking about void earlier. Actually, this is a perfect
void. In between.
Void is change.
Yeah.
To be one up and down. Yeah, to be one with change. I guess you were talking about like if there's a middle point. Mm-hmm. Let's say we could label now void with change. A lot of people cannot deal with change.
Yes, I agree.
Change is really hard.
Okay.
A good way to actually end that, like let's say somebody comes up to you like, Bryan, we've been doing this for 5 years. Why change now?
Yeah.
I'm just like, okay, cool. Like again, this is what you're talking about. Like to stop, to detach yourself. I was like, no, I understand from your part.
Right.
Yeah, I've been doing it 5 years too. But at the end of the day,
I want to grow.
We need to change.
Yeah.
Like comfort zone is a beautiful place.
That actually,
nothing grows there.
That kind of broke it down. So the other thing is people fear commitment.
Yep.
So maybe they do want to change. Like I would put like reference smokers.
Yep.
They want to stop smoking, but they start like maybe they do like a week. They go cold turkey, or they like I do a pack a day to like 2 a day, then 1 a day. But then something happens like I must do 1. Yeah. I'll be fine. And then or once they quit or like once they stop for like a month, then they do like a month free, and then they do 1 just to do it.
Yeah.
But then they kind of get back their habits and they end up back smoking like a pack a day. So it's that fear of commitment and making that fully change. Like, okay, what do I have to do in order to like make sure I don't smoke anymore? So it's like, all right, I'm not going to go to 7-Eleven. I'm not going to buy packs.
Actually, just let go. You just let go of the idea of quitting.
But then I feel like if you say that, it's very like it puts it down. It's esoteric because for us it's like mindset. I can do it.
Yeah.
But then I feel like for someone who's just trying to get into it, it's really hard.
This is an example. Actually, I was listening to this the other day, where it's like, okay, let's say it's hard to quit from something.
Yeah.
Let's say you're trying to diet, but the more it's back in the ways you go up and down.
Right.
The moment you quit something, let's say smoking,
something new grows.
That's already on the opposite side of the spectrum. Okay. Because you're let's say smoking, you're in this side of the spectrum.
Yeah.
The moment you quit, now you're on this side.
Right.
There's no other way to go but to go back to it, right?
Oh.
So you just keep going back and forth, which is the reason why you see people go back and forth smoking.
Okay.
The detachment to it is you accept the fact that you want to smoke. You're like, okay, you want to smoke. The moment you have it and you're just like, I want to smoke, but you're just like, eh.
Yeah.
You like the more you reject yourself from it,
the more you want to go back to it.
Yeah, because it's just part of that way of going things. Because once you reject, the opposite side of rejection is taking it. I
was listening about this exactly too. Yeah. I was like, okay, so what do you think?
Like it's funny because this happened to me the other day.
How do you do that? How do you let go of the idea?
I could give you an example. That's like, okay, I was like, I got hungry the other day, but I was like,
McDonald's right there.
I'm going to training, and I was like, I don't want to eat too heavy.
There's
Chipotle across the freaking thing. I was like, okay, Chipotle, I should not be eating Chipotle now, but whatever, I'm going to go to Chipotle.
Right.
The moment I said I shouldn't, it made me want to go. And I like, this is something I like to, what do you call it, to practice this. I like to watch my thoughts in third person.
Yeah, detach. I was like detach.
Exactly.
Even though you're yourself, you have to say,
so
what would I do if I were sitting next to myself?
My instinct was like, I'm hungry, we gotta go eat.
Right.
But the choice is there. So I'm watching myself like, okay, I denied it, which made me want to go. Once I got there, the funny thing is once it sat in front of me, I took 3 bites, I was like, I didn't even know why I wanted it. Because I accepted the fact that I'm gonna eat it anyway.
And then that negative feedback, just saying like you're wasting food, like it's subconsciously like, oh, I'm not gonna do this again. Like I'm gonna know better for next time.
Yeah.
So it's Okay, yeah,
So now I could finally explain to you, just like bow and arrow. So you say bow.
I've done a bow and arrow once.
You pull this way, right?
Yeah.
Retracts.
Yeah.
So we're talking about frequency going like this. So you want something, you're retracting that bow this way.
Right.
When you let it go, it goes back down.
Right.
So the only way you could get to where you want, to be on that void, keep accepting either one, because that wave is gonna mellow out at some point.
Right. So, like, in other words, commit. Like, if I'm going this way, I'm going this way.
Commit to the moment.
Okay. Yeah. There you go.
Yeah. That's.
I have a hard time defining commitment too. Yeah. So that makes sense.
Yeah. This whole thing that we're talking about, it goes back. What I found out was it just leads back to one thing. It's like, again, we labeled everything separately.
Accept yourself.
Accept the moment of where you are right now in this second, not where you are going to be tomorrow, not where you are going to be in the past. Not where you're going to be, like where you were at the past,
right?
Not where you might be in 2 seconds from now. Accept how you feel in this moment. Just like again, listening again.
Yeah.
Or like I was talking about this.
This makes cliche quotes so much realer.
Yeah.
It's like damn, I just had it in my head. I just forgot it. It's like always no, I forgot. Keep going. I forgot it.
Yeah. So
it had something in my head. I was like, that makes so much sense now, and then no, I forgot it.
So I was talking to a good friend of mine. Well, actually, I'm like this last 3 weeks. I've been back to getting myself in. I'm just in this mode, and I was ignoring it for the longest time, and it's limit breaking. We're talking about this. It's
right.
That's when I found out that I've got to break a limit. Okay. So first, to break a limit, you need to know what your limit is.
Right. You have to push yourself.
And your limit is life.
Okay.
Yeah. It's what life is, what you want from life, who you think you are in life.
Right.
Those are your limits.
Yeah.
But if I tell you to break those, it's like, what does that even mean?
Right.
So so that's where this whole thing started with me the other day. So when we're talking about just being in that moment of that certain time.
Right.
It came back when I was listening to Alan Watts. He was like, okay, most people look at life as a journey. Okay. The problem with a journey is there's an ending, there's a destination. A lot of people are like, it's not about the destination, it's about the journey. Okay. But the thing is, being a journey, there's a destination.
Right.
So he was like, it's more like music. Music is waves. It's sound. It's a series of noise and silence, noise and silence, noise and silence. Yeah. What do you do when you hear music? Your body naturally dances.
It vibes. Yeah.
Yeah, you dance. Right?
You're on an emotional roller coaster for that 3.5 minutes.
Yeah,
2.5 minutes. Or
and that's just, the thing is, that's the standard now.
Yeah.
There's composers back then that would make hours. And just you have
like
a whole
DJs
orchestra.
when we used to go to raves.
Yeah, there's like a whole orchestra.
24-hour, 48 rave.
For all the music people out there. Let me ask you this, let's say we're putting an analogy in life as music now. You dance through life. You're in the moment. Yeah. That feeling when you're in a rave, where just like the beat's about dropping, you're just like,
yeah,
boom.
That roller coaster ride that build up to the beat.
Yeah.
And then you hear it, bam.
It's funny because remember when you talk about gut instinct, it's the same feeling, right?
Right.
The same feeling that you have when you're about to talk to this girl you've loved forever. It's like, it's this gut feeling.
This is why everyone really associates the music, or this is why everyone likes music, because it's just their own roller coaster ride. Depending on what music they listen to, that's their version of releasing themselves.
Yeah, it goes back to one again. It's just
self-expression.
Yeah, it's self-expression. You express it the way you feel. The thing is, you dance, your body moves to the music. You feel how the music feels like. Yeah. But throughout the whole music, not one person thought about the ending of the song. Right. No one ever paid attention to the last note. Yeah. Because you don't want to be in that last note. It's like
you're in the moment.
So the thing is, people live life right now looking for that last note.
Yeah, people view life as looking at the end, or looking at to a certain point, their destination.
Yeah, so if you like, oh, I'm just in this journey, but the moment you label that journey,
then it becomes
endpoint.
Right.
The moment you label something, there's a big. Whenever there's a beginning, there is an end. Right. Which is part of the natural law of doing things. Right. But
we go through that dichotomy. It has to be a good start and beginning, or start and end.
Yeah, so to let go of that, to go back to the void, to go back to change.
That's where you find happiness.
I would say it's peace.
Peace. Okay.
It's more like
find life.
Call it Zen. Okay. The way you explain it is, okay, take a deep breath. If you hold it,
you can't breathe.
Well, just hold it. Your body's tense.
Yeah.
See that?
Yeah.
That's Zen. Zen is the moment.
The dichotomy.
So again, back, you go up and down, good or bad.
Yeah.
It's inhale, exhale.
Right.
You learn something, you intake, then you have output. Input, output. Input, output.
Which is a great way of managing stress.
Yeah, but
I feel like if you understand this, you can manage stress so much better.
You do.
Yeah.
Which is why.
That's why I harp on breathing when it comes to exercise.
Yeah.
Because what I find, it's not really the weight, the actual motion of my movements that I teach my clients. It's their breathing. Yep. It's like they hold their breath through their whole entire set, and then they turn purple. Like, what are you doing? Why? Yeah. It's like, well, what am I doing? You're not breathing. Yeah. Do you not feel that?
Yeah, it's just tension.
I didn't even know.
Yeah, it's tension, no tension.
Yeah.
When you breathe in, your body's relaxed. When you breathe out, your body tense. It's again, dichotomy.
Right.
Not to take away all. We go back again to being esoteric.
Yeah.
Everything we're just talking about is just one. It's either or. It's either or.
One or the other.
Yeah, in or out or.
Yeah.
So which is literally yin yang. When people think of yin yang, they put it as black and white. It's opposite.
Hold up. Well, keep going. Yeah. I took a note on this. I'm gonna look it up.
So yin yang is actually transition.
Yeah.
Like you said, one doesn't exist without the other, but transition to change.
Right.
The void, the middle part. That's when you go. Once you release
the balance of the two, or
it's Zen. It's very in the moment. You're in the moment. It's
damn. I know I had it down somewhere. It made so much sense for me when I wrote it down.
That's good, but
I forgot.
My suggestion,
I feel like I'm distracting.
No, it's good because I was gonna say my suggestion is. You put that down,
yeah.
Let go of what you had before, and let go of what you might think of the future.
Yeah.
The reason why, we're all over, we're going with the flow.
Yeah.
We're flowing right now.
Oh, okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah, I mean, that's why I don't like bringing my notes. But
yeah, which is, I said, I was saying earlier, I was the end of this video is going to be sweet because it's all over the place, but it's going to make sense.
Yeah.
Just flow, where we are now, where we go.
And then
it's the idea of it. It's
I get for me, I kind of want to bring in the whole spectrum of things because initially you wanted to play Madden or play video games, kind of warm us up, and I was like, we don't need to warm up. As long as we just start talking, it's gonna flow. And then I kind of slowly pull out the laptop, set everything up, and I just hit record,
totally
and then we're just going.
Yeah.
But then I feel like we need to have the go-tos. You're comfortable with gaming, so you brought up gaming.
I was playing video game earlier.
Yeah. For me, I honestly think it was drinking.
Drinking?
I don't need to drink a lot.
Moonshine, though.
Maybe it was the moonshine.
Yeah.
That Seattle moonshine.
Well,
where'd it go? Somewhere.
Yeah. To me, actually, it's it's more sparking an interaction where it's it's a different way of communicating just between us. It's almost like a traditionalist. Come over, play Madden, but it's the back and forth.
Yeah.
Which it's always been fun.
I always just like to relate because I think I always I saw you as my best friend, but at the same time your little brother, and I feel like you always thought of me as your little brother too. Even though you have James, who is your actual little brother, but I feel like I still treated you the same.
Yeah.
And then, but instead of that traditional concept of that's my little brother, I have to tell you what to do, blah blah blah. But then we kind of just learn from each other.
Yeah. Which is a thing too that I believe in. It's
right.
If I tell you how to learn something, if I tell you to learn this, you're not going to learn it. It's as a human instinct, you're going to reject it first of all.
Yeah.
Second instinct, it's going to be change, which again, that one person is not going to change because it's not who you are. It's not your self-expression.
Right.
Even as an older brother to James, which I've talked to people about that. It's me and James are not the traditional brother type of people, let's say Carlos. Carlos, let's say this. Carlos is older brother. There's always an older brother that bullies the little brother.
I don't even know Carlos had an older brother.
I
didn't even know that.
Yeah, or there's putting that, power over the little brother type of thing.
Right.
For me, James.
It's again that label type of thing.
Yeah, for me, it's just always been man, I've always hoped James learn things the way he wants to learn it.
Right.
you know, and there's times where like just let go of me. I mean, yeah, as a little brother, he'll get under my skin, you know, but I've always wished for him like, okay, we all make mistakes, we learn, and that's all, you know, and which is the same way like with you guys, you know, like, or like I treat like you and my brother, Rob's my brother, Ken, but like, then there's times you come up to me with the craziest idea. I'm like, yeah, man, go for it. Like, like I was like, here's my truth.
I was gonna bring that up. I was gonna bring up every time I bring up something like wild and crazy, and that's like nerd is being cool or like weird is cool now, and you guys is like, all right, Bryan is doing his thing, let him be.
Which
and I'm like, all right, I'm going for it
because you're gonna learn from it, you know. Because like, it's I mean, from personal experience, it's the same. It's just like there's not one time I do something like weird is just a label of something that's not norm,
right?
You know, something bad is just, you know, a label of something that's not good from everyone. So why not learn for yourself so you can express yourself?
Right.
So like, you know, just I guess going back to that brother thing, that's what we are. Bryan, whew, man, especially Miami, man. When that last day,
Miami?
No, the last day of Miami. When
when I went
man,
off?
You had the craziest ideas. I was like, whew, cool.
The last day?
Yeah. The thing is, I loved it because the first day, I was in my mode, and you're just like, yep, just let him be, you know?
Oh, yeah.
We had
I was just like,
it
everyone was coming at me, like, what's wrong with John? Like, just let him be. He's gonna go through his phase.
Yeah, it's just chill, and, you know, I appreciated it. That's the fun thing between us, though. It's like, man, like...
Only if you're on my Snap, you know what happened.
Yep. It's... Man, that, like... Actually, that's a big turning point of how my year was going.
Yeah.
You know, you had said one thing that was like I smiled about, even though it was really bad.
I definitely said the same thing over and over.
No. It wasn't that night. It was the next day.
Oh, okay.
6:30 in the morning. I remember sitting. No, we're like 7:30. I was sitting outside that bench, and I'm just like contemplating what was happening.
Oh, when I told you what happened.
And not just like you said, John. You know what happened? You were just like, man, your insecurities came out. Yo. The thing about that is, though,
being real. I think as a friend, you should always be real.
Yes, never.
Keep going.
Man, I'm one of those people that could, like you say, it's about feeling.
Yeah.
Man, I could feel someone bullshitting me, man. Like, which has helped me a lot with work. Like, it's my moral compass. Like, you know.
Yeah.
But
like, I'm not afraid to tell you the truth.
I mean, I've always been like that. Yeah. That's why I was like, Bryan, it's stupid, but to go do it. You know, like we've been like that.
Yeah.
But honestly, that was a pivotal point of how my year was going, because it started out in a way where I was getting my successes and things, you know. Got my play. Like, the thing is,
your own place.
Robbie I didn't even see this until Robbie talked about it. It was
Which
like,
one? Or what?
You know, like, John, you got some successes for yourself and you don't even pay attention to them.
Right.
So it's like, yeah, dude, you know, okay, you got your store, you got your place, you got a car, you got your child. And then, you know, you met this girl and it was awesome. But the thing is, with all of that, I'm back in this frequency. I'm on top here.
Yeah.
I wasn't growing anymore. I was like, you know, cool, I'm just going to enjoy this.
You lost your goals, kind of, in a way.
It's not losing goals. It's... You
didn't know where to go next, kind of thing?
It's more like I wanted more.
But then that's good, though. Do you think?
No, it's the ego in me that wanted more. Because, okay.
Oh, so you were neglecting your successes. You weren't, in a bad way of saying it, you weren't grateful for what you had.
So, yeah, exactly. Because so we're gonna go back to what you said a couple episodes ago. I think with Rob. Okay. You're like, I was dying because I was half asleep watching it. You're just like, you know, relationship John. Yeah, you called me relationship John. You're like, wild Bryan, relationship John, like shy can't. I know you were saying.
Oh, we were breaking everybody down.
Yeah. So that's another thing where I'm learning from. I was like, that's so funny because.
So labels are good in a certain way, to help you explain things.
Well, that's the thing. It's to like, labels are there because it's just there already. You know? We didn't even choose it to be there. Yeah. That's the problem with that. It's like, so who's controlling your life if you didn't choose that to be there?
So, if I break it down a little bit more, if I'm thinking about it, it's like the, it's not. I was gonna say explanation. But then it's just how we choose to be at that moment. Or no, I forgot already. Damn it, I'm horrible.
Very good, man. Keep flowing.
No, it was. Well, I think I was breaking everybody down. like Shy Kenny, Relationship John, Wild Bryan.
Yeah.
But then it was just for how we actually felt. Like we never really had to like fight ourselves about that.
Well,
as detachment. Right. By someone saying it, like defining us, that's like.
But the thing is, we've always had that, right?
No. Well, I guess let me break it down again. The one thing I was going to say is like, whether you believe you can or cannot, you're right.
Yep. It's because in that moment, there's no right or wrong.
Right. No, but when I'm saying it if it's from a third perspective, you know what you're being perceived.
Well, that's another thing. That's the label. If you're in a third perspective from somebody else, and you've already been labeled as good or bad, that's not you. Like,
it's still not you.
What I do is
it helps you reflect.
Yeah. So.
And I think that's what I was trying to get at. It helped you reflect because I told you what you were.
Mm-hmm. So breaking that down, like back to my goal of just being, like releasing detachments, like breaking limits. Like I said, like our limiter is who we are right now. Yeah. That's our biggest limit in life. It's who you are. John is my limit. Like the idea of being labeled as John, and people already know who John is. Yeah, that's already my limit. Okay. To break it is to let go of that John. So it's funny because when
be Johnny or John
Johnny LightBringer,
John X2,
Johnny LightBringer. Yo, that's actually okay. After this, before I forget what I was gonna say. I'm gonna talk about this afterwards. So just letting go of that. You're saying relationship, John. Yeah. It's funny because I was talking about like how do you let go of everything? But the thing is, your everything is different from my everything. Right. It's that's how I started to laugh because like the reason why I missed out of all my successes because my everything literally just growing up and just like
you could say you were comparing yourself to somebody, not really someone specific, but you were comparing yourself to someone's successes.
Well, it's like not my success. I was talking to my assistant about this. Like they were like, John, for like my assistant is older than me.
Oh, your assistant, okay.
Yeah, so he's like, John, for somebody your age, it's weird. Like you actually put yourself together in a way. I was like, it's funny because I'm like after you said that and after talking to Rob, I was like, John, you're just very a relationship oriented person. Yes. What is around my life is there because
I remember when you were single, you were always complaining to me when I was in a relationship, like I want to be in a relationship. Yeah, you just didn't like to be single.
Yeah, it's just the thing is that was my that was everything for me. Just like everything around me, everything that's happened to me, all my successes was preparation to be
in a relationship, to have a family.
Not much in a relationship. It's like if I come across somebody that's supposed to be in my relationship. Okay. I'm ready for it. Like when I was trying to get a place, it wasn't for a reason for me to live in. Like it was for me like how can I
to ground yourself and support for someone else?
Yeah, like I need a home base. Yeah, well, just that and also like like putting the frequency up of people that I attract. Like it's like I'm opening up, so I'm just not focused on this one type of person. Right. It's like I'm literally prepping for that, and I was like, that's when it hit me when I was talking about. I was like, yo. Not even the idea of this person. It's just the idea of having this relationship was my everything. Right. So right now, my, what I'm saying, like with detachment, I had to let go of that, and I'm just like.
You weren't living in the moment anymore. You were living for that future, John.
Yeah, and it's interesting, and
yeah. So you can even be fighting yourself, and I think that's
the toughest. That's
crazy.
Part. You never know who your ego is. You never know which part of yourself is your ego until
this is where it caught me with Sifu. Yeah. With Jimmy. I asked him the question, like, who are the 5 closest people you associate with? And I think his 5th one was himself. Yeah. And I was like, damn, I never even thought about I could be fighting myself. I could have battles with myself. But then it's true. Like, majority of people, the biggest conflict is themselves.
It's back to your yin and yang. It's not your gut instinct versus what do you think. Yeah. It's people call it, oh, I'm woke. But, like, it's I don't know. It's like actually, if you just live in that moment, it's you like that's what letting go of ego is. Like in this split second, I'm talking, and I'm just enjoying what I'm telling you about. That is it. That's
It's sharing your passion. It's a self-expression. Yeah, kind of like way in the very beginning. That's what we were talking about.
Yeah, it's good to point at something that I'm gonna get there. But worrying about to get there is different from just walking there. Right. That small step in this split second is actually I'm more me now. Yeah. Than me talking about where I'm gonna be at.
Yes. Yes, and I guess to put it in a more clear way, in my head, it's everything, I don't want to say rules were meant to be broken, but rules were meant to be bent. Yep. Saying that they're guidelines. Because I related this with Jimmy too as well. When I'm taking my dance classes, all of my teachers keep yelling at me like, you have to learn the basics. You have to learn the basics. And I preach this too with all of my clients in terms of powerlifting. You have to learn the basics before you can translate it your own way.
Yep.
Because you'll find your own way just by learning the basics. Because you'll figure it out. Like, this doesn't feel good, or I don't feel like this flows when I dance, or this doesn't feel good when I punch.
Yeah.
You'll learn that instinctually. But as long as you know the concept, you can bend it to your own way.
And that's the thing about back to dichotomy.
Yeah.
It's
finding your balance.
Because I teach this at work.
Uh-huh.
I tell people all the time, like, we got to do it by the book because that's how we need to do it. And they're just like, okay, well, this is faster.
Yeah.
And then like, you would work together. You know how that feels. And like, actually, you got to go visit my store sometimes. It's different. We still have fun, but it's a very different vibe because especially new people or the people that's training my new people. Like, I had a complete turnover of people like leadership in there. And the one thing I would tell them is like, okay, you're gonna break the rule. But let me ask you something. What are you breaking? It's like,
let me ask you. Confused right now.
Like, you're doing your thing. It's like, what are you breaking? And I'm just like, yeah, I mean, if you never learned the rule, what are you breaking? And just like,
that's true.
So
the concept of learning the rule before you can break it. Therefore, you're not really breaking the rule if you never learned it.
Yeah. So
even though it's
now you just feel stupid. You're just like, so, like, you mean I'm wrong? It's like, well, in this moment and this, what you're asked of right now as a job, you might as well not be working here. And just like, I mean, I tell them I understand that there is faster ways.
Yeah.
I've done it, like, I've done the process to get there.
Yeah.
I'll teach you how to do it faster.
Right.
But first things first, you need to learn how things work.
Yeah.
You need to learn the procedures. Because
it's funny being on both sides of the spectrum. Like, for me, like, learning the dance.
Yeah.
Like, I understand the concept. Like, I clearly understand the concept. But then if I'm put in that situation where I want to learn something and then I want to learn it quickly, I'm going to find my shortcuts.
Yeah.
But deep down, like, until I get back home and I reflect on it, then that's like, oh, shit.
Yeah, it's funny.
Like, I got to go back to my basics.
Sifu, if you're watching this, man, every time I come to him, the moment I feel like I understand something, like, Sifu, what should I work on? Just do your basics. It's like, most frustrating things, the first 2 years I trained with Sifu, just like, just do your basics. And I'm just like, it didn't click to me until a year in when I was like, holy crap. Basics is foundation. You can't build anything without foundation.
Right.
There's nothing big without the small. There's no macro without the micro.
You can't innovate without knowing what's there already.
Yeah, it's just building blocks. And I'm just like, oh man, I'm an idiot.
Damn.
But it's dichotomy again, man. It's like,
I love that word now.
Yeah, it is. It's, like, I'm happy you brought that up because I guess it's a good way to ground this whole
the connection between us.
That, and also for your viewers. It's, like, honestly, we're going back and forth from esoteric
the dichotomy.
Well, just esoteric way of talking to more detailed way of talking.
Right. This is the perfect balance.
Which is what I was saying.
For
in the bigger picture.
Oh,
that's what I was telling you earlier. Like, when the moment this video comes out in the end, you'd be like, whoa. It's because the whole time we talked about flow. This whole time we were just flowing.
Yeah. Every podcast I've ever done has been on the fly. I may have edited some things out, like just taking some stuff out, but everything was on the fly. Like, there was no retakes on this.
Yeah. Well, why retake? Retaking is weird. Like, if you watch YouTubers, and I like to watch the gamers. I'd watch Game Grumps, and one thing that they says, like, hey, why don't you guys edit out your games? Like, most people will edit their playthroughs, like, because it gets boring.
Yeah.
And Ego Rap, Aaron, his answer was like, well, one of them, I think it's him though, but his answer was like, well, I feel like you're taking away from the viewer. Like,
right.
It's like you're showing your destination, but you don't know how you got there.
Right.
So the reason why we do this format where they're playing through the whole game and talking is because you got to get there somehow.
Right.
So
you have to see their trial and errors to actually learn.
That's why I love watching their videos, because it's not much a trial and error. It's not about the playthrough.
Right.
It's about, in that moment, it's hilarious that these guys are comedian as well.
They're real. Okay.
Like real. In that moment, it's funny. It's like you're watching so much things. You're hearing so many different things. They come back and forth about, they could be joking. The next thing you know, they're talking about quantum physics, or like it's just much like us. Like
whenever I watch them, it goes over my head, and I'm like, I don't know what I'm watching. I'm gonna watch Dashi now.
Yeah, like, he edits his it's cool. Like he has his format.
Yeah,
but the reason
that's his style though. It's kind of like us.
Well, yeah, with Game Grumps, that's why just going back to what you were saying. Like that's the reason why I like I guess they don't really edit out things. It's funny. They let their fans edit out. Like they have like a
fan page.
Not much. Like they have fans that would just put like compilations of their videos, but they edit them themselves. So it's like, so you don't even need to, like, these guys have, like, cool. They figured it out. Like, why do that work?
Yeah, I would love
if you could just go here.
I would love for people to do that for me.
Make my life easier. Basically what compilations is, like, even, like, say, you watch a fight.
Yeah.
You watch a fight. You don't go wait for the knockout. Like, people watch highlights, but it's, it's cool, I saw the highlights. But now you're just like, there's no emotion to it. Like, when you watch, like, a boxing, let's say, when I used to watch Pacquiao a lot.
Yeah.
There's a time where I missed a fight and I saw the end. I was like, "Oh, cool."
But I want to see the trials. I want to see I want to hear the story.
Back again, it's up and down. It's the music.
No.
It's the flow. It's everything.
I got this conversation last night too with this girl about storytelling.
Yeah.
Storytelling is what makes things real, or not really makes it real, but makes the ending sweet.
And again, it's foreground and background.
Right.
Like your ending won't happen if you don't have a beginning.
Right.
If you don't have a down part of your story, you don't have a climax.
That's why fairy tales are so magical, because you saw the Beauty and the Beast story.
And you go up.
Yeah.
That's which is actually, I was thinking about that day. I was like,
everything is related to this.
Yeah, exactly.
Fairy tales, movies.
And this is where I start from the very beginning. This is like, it's hard to talk to you about, like you say, how can you explain Tao?
Okay.
It's literally you just go up and down. It's that frequency.
I don't know what it like at all. Like I don't have any context of Tao, to be honest. That was the reason. Actually,
you've been talking about Tao the whole time right now. It's okay. We're talking about the story. You go down and then up.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's funny which is a misconception that we got growing up. There's a happy ending and you stay there.
Right.
Going back to how I am in a relationship, I always feel like there's a happy ending, whatever.
Yeah.
But
we're very romantic in our relationship.
So the thing is, which I learned that like learning about Taoism, there has to be a down.
Right.
You can't just end in a happy ending.
Right.
There has to be a down, which made me grow with relationship wise. It's like there's always gonna be a down part.
Yeah.
So like imagine, this is why One Punch Man, honestly, this is why One Punch Man, like everybody loves One Punch Man. Ever watch One Punch Man?
Anime.
Okay. Well, let's say this.
I'm so lost.
Okay, I know this is different.
I know,
storytelling wise, the reason.
Tell One Punch Man. I feel like I know a lot of people watch that.
Okay.
I just don't at the moment.
Yeah, we're kind of talking about fairy tales, but I'm gonna switch it up to anime. So One Punch Man, man, when that thing came out, everyone was into it for one reason, and nobody even paid attention.
Why?
Until somebody explained it afterwards.
What is that?
Okay, so we're used to watching, like, let's say Dragon Ball. You at least you're familiar with Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah.
Naruto, One Piece. Their storylines is this is the main character.
This is their journey.
So there's there's opportunity to be done. There's they get hurt, they grow, they get better, they stronger. They just keep growing. They keep getting better, stronger.
Okay.
Which is cool to watch, but it's hard for us to relate.
Right.
You can't always go up forever.
This is a story I rarely tell. When I used to watch Power Rangers, I would secretly always hate them, or I always hate the ending. Like I don't know. I'm maybe like 8, 10. Why don't they just lose for once? I'm that kid.
It's boring, right?
I want to see something different. I already know the ending before I watch it. Like I know they're gonna beat up a monster, blah blah blah. I'm like, this is boring.
Yeah.
And then I remember when I was probably in the 3rd grade, we were doing a reading assignment. Arthur. Yeah. We were reading Arthur. Yeah. Everyone loved Arthur. I was like, just because everyone liked Arthur, I didn't like Arthur.
Yeah. You're one of those people that. You went through things with your life.
Yeah.
You could it's hard. they're painting this picture of a perfect world,
right?
But not everyone can relate to it.
Yeah,
you know, because man, there are people that have gone through things and just like walked off with life like it's like, oh wow, this this was easy, but it was because of the first labor of the people before them, of their parents. You know, they took the way they grew up. So like with people like me and you who went through some things, growing up. It's like you said. It's like, okay, what? Like,
like this isn't real. No, well, just to go back to my Arthur story. Yeah. My teacher like allowed me to read it. She gave me another book.
Yeah.
Although it was another happy ending story, I was more rooting at what just happened. Yeah. Because everyone was rooting for Arthur, I would say the protagonist in life.
Yeah.
I was rooting for the underdog.
Okay.
Like I was saying, although it was another happy ending story, I got to read about someone else. I got to read about the guy who isn't as famous.
This is the underdog. And
yeah.
So, and it goes back to like just relating.
Yeah.
So, it's
fun. I got to see something different. I think that's what it was.
Yeah. So even though everybody loves, let's say, go back to Dragon Ball, like everyone loves winning because that's what we aspire for. We want to keep going.
Right.
At some point, you get detached with that person, like that, like because when you grow up, you learn that you don't always win. Like you can't always win because back again to that you go up and down. And that's either good or bad, or you're winning or you're losing. You always have to.
I feel like for me, I think for at least for me and Rob Kenny, like we always follow like the Ty Lopez, the Gary V's, the Grant Cardone. They always say this one thing. I don't think that everyone ever like really notices. Like the richest of the rich, if they got there easy, they could be the saddest of the sad. Because we all want what they have in terms of monetarily, like what they have material-wise.
It's empty.
But they don't have anything to value for it.
Yeah, it's just a very empty like
life.
You got there like
because you didn't actually work for it.
Yeah, they think about like people that won the lottery. It's just like, oh, let me spend all this. Oh, they're happy for that split second. But there's no one ever takes care of. Again, that for me, it's that of you, that inner you, like not the ego.
Yeah.
No one thinks of taking care of that. Like satisfy yourself with what you got.
Yeah.
It's like express yourself. Like let's say you get success, man, express yourself how you're supposed to, not how you show it.
Yeah.
Like what you're saying earlier. Like if you had made money, you're gonna do all these things. Like you'll help people, or you buy, stuff like that.
Like, but I want people to say like, if you've made whatever money you've made, I want you to figure out what you still be doing. Like, there's no way you'd be on a beach for the rest of your life if you're like, I don't know, if you got rich now. I'm 25. Yeah. If I spend the rest of my life on a beach, I would be bored out of my mind.
Yeah, because back again, you're clinging on. You're not going with the flow. You're clinging to good.
You're looking at
all you can do is
at an image. Like I'd be happy to live on a beach for like a month, maybe at most. But then I'd be like, I gotta do something with my life.
Yeah, it's always change. It's that void. It's in that middle again. You can't always. But man, where were we going before Arthur? One Punch Man. We're talking about One Punch. Okay, one reason why everybody knows One Punch Man is because it's the opposite. This guy was so good in the beginning that he was bored of his fights.
Okay.
So no one ever talks about
of it.
So
no one talks about this
part of the story, this part of
mentality,
like the fairy tales, the stories you're talking about storytelling.
Right. Yeah.
No one has ever talked about the part where you plateau.
Yes.
Where there's no more challenges in life.
Yeah.
You said you could leave in the beach forever.
That's why no one ever talks about what happens after Beauty and the Beach get together.
Yeah.
Beauty and the Beach.
So he said, like living, like it's similar to what you're saying, like if you're successful and you get to live in the beach forever, it's boring.
Yeah, because no one would watch that. Like when Cinderella gets with her.
So with One Punch, it's funny because that concept is the same for One Punch Man. He got so strong, he could beat everyone. Man, like this dude is bored of his life, and all he looks for is now more challenge. So that's where, again, that way of living of detaching is very interesting. It's like we need to learn that part.
Yeah.
You need to learn that it's that discipline to be, as people would say, it's forever student.
Yeah.
You can't grow if you feel like you're there already.
Right.
So the only way to grow is humbling yourself, and literally like like there's a project that I want to do. Like actually, I'm been starting doing lately.
What's that?
Is like before even like a couple hours ago.
What?
I was talking to Rob about it, but basically to break my limit, to let go of John and my preconceived notion of who I am.
Okay.
You know, to be that forever student.
Yeah.
I've looked at it as so black and white before.
Right.
But now it's to be on that change, that void.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone that I meet is a master of something.
Right. You can always learn from somebody.
You are a master of your art.
Right.
To go back to that saying, like you can always learn from somebody. But now you can't. You got to be aware of what you learn from somebody.
Right.
You don't want to take in their negatives. You know, you don't want to take everything because some of those things won't work for you.
Right. Right.
You know, like let's say, like for me, like put in a martial arts way. Like, you know, I'd love to learn more things about Taekwondo, but man, I know my kicking won't be as effective because I haven't practiced it forever. Like, getting in a fight tomorrow, I'm not gonna be like, oh man, I learned Taekwondo yesterday. You know, it's like, but now, like my question was, how do I gain mastery of all this? How do I become a student of everybody? Right. So
okay, what is your answer to that?
It's I want to learn the things that you do that you don't even know you're doing, because that is your. You know, we're talking about like your comfort,
natural,
your art, your self-expression.
Yeah.
You know, the one thing that you don't even talk about that you do the best.
Yeah.
You know, so from my observation,
what
you're good at, I'm gonna take that for you. I might not even ever talk to you about it. I might ask you something about it. I might never even, tell you about it. Like with Rob, a good example was because I've noticed I've done it twice already.
What?
I grew up very antisocial, very
Introverted. Yeah.
Meeting Rob and you guys,
Yeah.
Working with Rob for like a year and a half, or just knowing Rob for that long now.
Yeah.
I've always just observed how the way he's extrovert, the way he does it in a different way. It's like
right.
And he mastered this thing where he literally he not just put his walls down.
Yeah.
He gives them like. The reason why it's so easy to talk to Rob because he gives them his weakness.
Yeah.
He'll tell the weirdest thing to make himself look weird that you're comfortable.
He's very good at humility. He's very humble in that way. I understand that.
Yeah. So for a while. Just by him making it seem like you're better than him, it makes you talk to him. Right.
He makes you feel comfortable around him.
It's not an ego battle like, oh, I'm better at this, I'm better at this. He's like, cool.
Right.
So, but he's done it so many times in front of me, I never paid attention. I was like, that's his mastery of things. Like, he's good at this humility,
Yeah.
And I've tried it, and then, I've used it. Like, I've met so many people that way. And I was like, but I never
thought about it
I didn't put it together until lately where I want to break my limits now.
Yeah.
Like, with my old GM, Ramon.
Yeah.
Same thing. Like, I put it in business perspective. Every GM I've worked with at least 8 or 9 like GMs. Where I am now, the way I turned over this, my store that fast, like in a year, like we're like hitting like pound per pound basic numbers wise.
Yeah.
We're doing 20% over last year. We're on this list of like people that like there's 15 stores in the whole country that they took notes of what we're doing. Right. That's successful for us. Like, we got there coming from one of the worst stores. Like, we were supposed to be closed. Like, we were on the list of being closed, and I took us off that list in 33 days. Only because like, when I got there, man, it was a mess. But it was I didn't notice that all the things I liked from my GM, I took it. And everything I didn't like about him, I didn't give it to him, because I knew the perspective of being a team member. Right. So now, even when I train, the leaders in my store, it's like, okay, first, what do you call it? First lesson of leadership. First lesson of being a manager. Yeah. I don't care if you could count cash. I don't care if you could order food. I don't care. Those are just responsibilities. To lead a store.
You have to take responsibility.
Leading is, you need to learn how to follow
Assume responsibility. Or to lead, learn how to follow first. Okay.
Yeah, to be able to lead, you need to learn how to follow first. Not a lot of people
understand that.
Yeah, so now, what do you follow? They're like, well, what do I follow? It's like, okay, every manager you worked with, you're going to be different than I am. Right. But pick the good from every one of them that you liked about them. and now manifest it to you.
Yes. That's okay.
Now lead it the way you see it.
Yeah.
And, now just understand everybody else. And I didn't know I was doing it in a business standpoint. Now I want to apply it to my life standpoint where it's not limited to people that I know anymore. I want like, it could be
communication just in general.
Just anyone. Like, like you could always you could sense it when somebody's good at something.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's, I don't know. Well, that's my, I just learned about like my thing lately.
No, because I relate to that well, because I think I learned that through the military, through the Marine Corps. Once I became an NCO, and how basically everything started with the podcast, with the apparel brand, and then with me powerlifting in general, was that I felt like I had to assume the leadership position because I never wanted that. Like, I wanted to do my time, get out. I didn't want any responsibilities because to me that was scary at the time.
Yeah.
But then once I accepted that, I got promoted, and I was like, okay, now I got to do something about it. Like, I have this platform, whether it's now powerlifting, breaking state records, or being someone that almost has to be like respected.
Yeah,
it's almost like you're forced to be a role model, even though you never wanted to be. But then at the same time, what I learned through the Marine Corps was like mentorship. Like, I kind of did the same thing you did. Like, I just picked people. There's certain people that I liked. There was some like I admired about them, whether it was like their fashion, was it their strength, whether it was their style, or like their material things. I would pick the things that I liked, and then I would try to obtain it. I'd figure out a way to obtain it. But at the same time, now that I'm having mentees underneath me, I'm teaching them, I have these things, but this is me. This is what I like.
Yeah. So who are you?
Right. So when I have a mentee or someone who asks me questions, like I think I wrote this down on my Instagram. When I take my notes, was like, in the business of giving advice, I can never tell you what to do. Like, as a manager, as a leader, I'll never tell you. Like, I'll tell you what to do because I have to. Yeah. But that's, like I was saying earlier, like, it's almost like a guideline.
Yeah. Build moral compass.
Right.
Over putting a structure around them.
Like, if I tell you we have to go to the store to get groceries, but then you're like, why? Why do we have to do it now? We can do it later. Or like, if I tell you specifically get eggs.
Yeah.
Like I don't care if you go to Safeway, Giant, or 7-Eleven.
Just get the results.
Just get it done. Like, I just told you to go. Like, if I tell you to go to Giant, if you come back with a 7-Eleven bag, I wouldn't care.
Yeah, and
but then it's really hard for me to get someone young or like my mentee to figure that out. But then that's their own personal growth.
Yeah, that's something I've actually figured out in my store.
Okay.
My store has to be like overall the youngest store. You know how nobody ever liked hiring a bunch of high school kids or teenagers?
Right.
Because they don't have the work ethic.
Or like they're just young and inexperienced. Yeah, but then anyone can learn.
This is what actually the Instagram thing about it is where it's like no one ever gives them a chance. Like,
yeah.
You know, a lot of us can judge them and like, oh, they're just lazy, but did you ever take time to teach them? But
right.
Most of the time it's just...
We don't have that many good teachers. Or
it's not happening.
They don't have a role model.
It's the teaching part, which is my favorite part of my job, is to educate.
Oh, put that on.
Yo, I'm back.
3, 2, 1. I ran out of storage. Just telling the truth. It cut off, so I had to delete some stuff and bring it back.
Yeah.
I don't even know where we're at.
It's good, man.
You just fly with the flow.
What is the thing? Back to flow. And just like what we're talking about, you flow and then there's a stop. But good thing about
this is the void. This is literally the void.
You gotta accept the change and
going to 0 to 100 and 100 to 0, and then trying to get back. This is rough.
So I mean, to go from where we're at now, I have no idea. But actually, one thing I want to do at the beginning, because when you introduce people, that's one thing we totally skipped in this one. Yeah. Well, we kind of did, but
I don't know. We had stuff to talk about.
Yeah, we've been talking since this video started. So
yeah.
I actually want to bring something, like, this is going to be random, not a baby part of it, but
go ahead.
Very random. I don't know if I've ever talked to you about this. Funny thing, like, people ask me about my Instagram name, Johnny Lightbringer.
Okay.
Have I ever told you about that?
No.
Okay, funny thing. I just looked up what my last name meant, Raymundo.
Raymundo, okay.
Yeah, so translated to English, it's...
In Tagalog?
Yeah, no, it's Spanish. It's from Spain. Like.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Raymundo is a Spanish name.
I didn't know that.
So Raymundo, mundo means earth, world.
Okay.
Ray meaning sun, light, bringer of light.
Light.
So light bringer. So Raymundo means bringer of light to the world.
Okay.
So, like synchronicity, like the world, like way it works is it's so beautiful if you looked at it in a third person perspective.
Yeah.
Where you're not even part of this world. Like it's like take away your ego and you're just watching things happen.
Right.
It's weird how things synchronize, So when I figured that out, I was like, cool, I'll put my name is John Lightbringer. And then working with Sifu, like training with Sifu after I met him.
Yeah.
He's like, Guanjido, way of the light. I sounded just like you in your podcast when you were like, what does way of the light mean? Does it mean like fast like light?
Like flash.
Yeah, like I had the same because we're just very like into this earth. Like we're very grounded people. We can't understand it until like.
Right.
You try to put it into a way where it happens in front of our eyes.
Is that why he chuckled every time I asked a question? Because he already had the question.
Yeah. So, the thing is, way of the light, he explained it, the way I understood it. It's like,
frequency, that's what he said. Yeah, that's what he said, frequency.
So, to me, the way of the light is, light meaning inside you, your true self.
Right.
It's there's other books where they just call that light. Yeah, you're part of this. You have this small light that's part of a bigger light.
Okay.
I forgot which book that was. I'm really again, Bryan's got the details. I do things in the moment, and I kind of just I let go of the details at some point.
I'm spastic too. Like
yeah.
If this was like if I was on someone else's podcast, I'd be like, I don't know. But since it's mine, I'm comfortable.
Good. So just that light. So the way I understand it is like it's that light. It's your instinct. It's who you really are. Like what moves you in this split second. Who you are at this moment. That's who the light is.
Right.
It's the way of the light. This is the way of self-expression. Like literal in that moment.
Yeah.
So like with Sifu, the way he would explain it. Let me see. He would explain it like this. This is a good way to show Guanjido. Okay. So if I throw this at you, like your first instinct, catch. Yeah. That is Guanjido. Okay. People ask, what the hell does that mean? Yeah. Like, I catch it.
Natural.
So it's your instinct. If I throw somebody throws you a ball, you catch it.
You either you catch it or you dodge it. Yeah. Catch, dodge.
Coming back to what you guys are talking about.
Fight or flight.
Yeah. So that's Guanjido. It's how do you train that?
Okay.
So meaning way of the light is the way of your instinct. And being able to train under Sifu and now helping train people. Right. With my name, Johnny Lightbringer, Raymundo, it's like Sifu.
You go hand in hand with his concept, his philosophy.
Yeah, it's like, now it's bringer of light out to the world. So now it's not much the actual thought of like
sharing information.
It's getting yourself out to the world.
Yeah.
So it's funny because I've come across a lot of different people, older people. Like I have adopted parents at this point. Like, because we talk about things like the way I'm talking to you right now.
Yeah.
The same way I talk to them. My friends, like, I rather have talks like this rather than empty talks about, like,
small talk.
Going out drinking. Like, small talk, yes.
Well, the weather's outside, it's snowing.
My small talk is really weird. My small talk is like, it's what I like to do. And then it's just like, my small talk is literally just to get that light out of, it's like, even in my interview,
I wish I could do that.
My interviews, like, if you ever, like, one day I wish you could just go to when I interview people for work.
Oh, like hiring?
Yeah, it's the weirdest thing. They come in, sit down. Most people, they
put a mask on.
They have a script.
Yeah.
If you ever
I want to join your company because
I'm a quick learner. I could do this, and that. Yeah. I've cooked in the kitchen. Like, Mom, this is script because you know where you're going to. Right. So for me to actually the type of person I hire,
thought-provoking questions, actual thought-provoking questions.
No, it's not much thought-provoking. It's just for you to express yourself naturally. It's,
right.
You know,
think about it.
Yeah. Well, I guess that's the part I don't want. I don't want them to think about it. I just go, so what do you like to do? And they're just like, oh, well.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Oh, well, they're thinking. Like, to put in the detailed perspective onto it, they're thinking about it because no one's ever asked that question. They're not ready for that.
Yeah, so
they actually have to, dig in.
Well, that's the part where I don't even pay, I erase it from my interview.
Okay.
The moment
I'm more in the psychological part of it. That's right.
But the moment I could talk to you without you thinking, the moment you could do that, 9 out of 10, I've already hired you before you even finish your sentence.
That makes sense.
Because
how quick you react, type of thing. How quick you react, and just
overall, feeling the person. You know, it's like
how comfortable you are in situations.
Yeah,
or under pressure.
For me, it comes to either you want to grow or you just want to be where you are. And the thing
way
is
you answer that question really says a lot about you.
Yeah, but the thing, I don't ask that question.
No, what I'm saying, by you asking a question of that nature, it says a lot about you. Whether you're very defensive, you try to hide, I'm just me. And they try to deflect it to be like, I don't know what you mean by that answer, because they think of what you said, a script.
Yeah, and then, dude, I love unscripted talks. So I'm just like, oh, cool. Well, it doesn't have to do anything with restaurants. What do you want to do? What do you want to do after this? Dude, I've loved the answer. The people that I've hired.
Yeah.
Man, I've gotten people that are music producers. Some people that train martial arts somewhere else.
That's legit. That's legit.
Do boxing. They the best ones are the anime fans. Because I'm just like, oh man, I was in Otakon. That's because I also bring myself out.
Yeah.
Because I feel like if I'm gonna work with someone that long, that's my second home.
Yeah.
We're all gonna be just that.
I feel the same way when I look for my clients.
Yeah.
But
because if you could train that light, it's
that's
with martial
growing more than what I can just teach you.
Yeah, because
you're not just giving them a job. You're trying to help them.
It's easier
grow.
It's easier to teach someone if you could relate to them in that level.
That is true.
Which goes back to what we were talking about earlier. How do you get to your mentees to do that?
Yeah.
It's that. Get on their level doesn't mean you lower down your standards. It's understand them to where they are because they might have not seen your standards yet. Because a lot of people, it's the way you see things.
Right.
What's good to you might not be good to someone who's on the next level.
Okay.
It gets to be just mediocre. But if I could sit down and be like, okay, oh man, this is pretty good, but this is where we're at now. Look up. Right. We're gonna be there together. That's how you get them up there. But they have to get there in their own sense of thinking. So
so just to keep putting me in perspective on this, it's my issue. I guess my issue is detaching, literally me detaching, because now that I have them under my wing, I feel like I'm more on that nurturing side where I wanna ensure that they grow. Okay. So I'm almost what's the word that mothers do? Coddling them. Yeah. So there's no way but to succeed.
Okay.
But then they also have to do it their own way. So I'm
So where do you land in there? I have my own process of way of doing things. So a lot of the people I work with was like, John, you're very different as a manager. I was like, what do you mean?
So you're really good at just detaching yourself with your managerial self or mentor self.
I guess you could.
You know how to be professional.
No, you place your attachment somewhere else. Okay. So my attachment, like I said, I like training, I like teaching. Honestly, this job is it's just it's a platform for me to teach the next generation. So what I look at is, you're not attached with a person.
Okay.
You're attached to getting this person up there with your name on there. The way you want to detach that is this. Let them make their own mistakes. They'll get on your level. What I want from my people is to beat me.
Right.
That's all I want from them. Even anyone I know.
I don't really have that issue. I think I'm more
because when you coddle someone,
I misspoke on that.
Yeah, because they will always be under your. There's other managers that I have team members that came from other managers that was like that.
Yeah.
The thing is, now when they're presented in this situation where they have to think on their own, they're so used to being coddled.
Right.
They're just like. You can't react. Your light doesn't come out. You're like, oh well, somebody else has already done it for me.
I see.
But that's why in my first 2 weeks of training a manager, I was like, make all the mistakes that you want. Just make all the mistakes right now because in the future I'll help you. And they do not understand that until months later. They're like, oh, I went through this.
Okay. Refresh me real quick for what you said about quitting smoking. What did we say? Just accepting being yourself?
Well, no, accepting in the moment that you want to smoke, but once you get that smoke, you just like, you want it to quit.
So my perspective on the issue is that I feel like you need a support system. So if, I guess to put it in like reality, like my Marine would be like, if I talk to them, well, I only see them once a month, like a couple of days a month. But every time I see them growing. Like they tell me what their mistakes, they ask me what I should do or what I would do, and like my perspective on the issue. But then I don't see them. But then maybe it's me being impatient that I want them to grow faster. But then it's also I want.
No, that's it. You just answered your question.
Yeah, I'm gonna say. I feel like that. It is.
It's your haste. You're not in the flow.
Right.
You're.
I'm looking at my future self or their future self, and I take their responsibility.
You want to get there as fast as you can, which is again, you're trying to be in the end of the song rather than be in the song. You know? So going back to support system.
Right.
Again, Sifu is a big influence in my life. You said well, but John, this is the thing.
Okay.
A teacher will always appear when the student is ready.
Right.
When it's, you can't teach someone who's not ready. That's why I said let them make their mistakes, because people will come to you. People will look for support if they don't have the answer.
Right.
Okay, in my professional, like at work, this is what I do. I relate their hours the way when I used to coach football. It's playtime.
Right.
They do something wrong, they're not following procedures, or they're not just doing something standard that is a standard of what we should be doing.
Yeah,
their hours goes down.
Right, PT time.
It's just, the thing is, I've never believed in write-ups. I've never believed, because it's a slap on the wrist.
Right.
If you get the same, but people are the reason people. You get to the thing is, you gotta get to the root of everything.
Yeah,
people are at work is because of money.
People are motivated by emotions though too as well.
Yeah, I mean that's
the way that's when it's a part of it. Yeah,
but if I ask you why are you at work, it's because you need income.
Money. Oh yeah.
If you never needed income, man, we would be so happy with our life. We'd just be like, I'll do whatever I want. But in the end of the day,
there's necessities.
You have to work. There is a system.
Right.
Even though the system of no systems would be best. But
I was learning Maslow's hierarchy of needs.
Yeah. So let's say this. Okay. You get to the root. Root is everybody needs the money, income. Hours is their income. Nobody pays attention to that. They just feel like, oh man, they come to work. I don't feel like working. I have too much hours.
Right. But then once you actually lose those hours, you realize what you had.
So once I make this, and I tell them that at the beginning, there's like, you come in here. If you lose hours, it's because you're not performing.
Right.
All I need is execution. I don't mind if you don't like me.
So you have a discipline.
My discipline is like I will still talk to you as normal as possible. Right. We will still be friends as manager. I've never treated people under me as they're lower than me. I'm just like, I'm with you. We're working together. I just get paid more because I'm responsible for a store compared to you responsible for a station.
So how would you discipline someone if you don't have that power?
If you don't have that power.
Say you're intermediate. Say like you're a shift manager.
Okay.
How would you teach an employee?
How would I teach an employee
to be better?
Well, that's knowing your role at the same time.
Oh.
A lot of people we like to be in control.
Yeah.
If you don't have the answer, we don't like to look for the answer.
Right.
Again, now you become the student.
Yeah.
Now you gotta look for so my shift managers know if somebody they just report to me like, hey, this person's not been executing properly, and I'm like, cool. Hours go down, and then this is my favorite part is. I don't like going to them and telling them what they're doing wrong.
Right.
I like it when they come to me and reflect that they might be doing something wrong, and they ask me on how to get better.
Right.
Because that's the moment where you learn. Like the moment you've humbled yourself.
Yeah.
That's the idea of once, a teacher appears when the student is ready.
Right.
You're ready when you're empty. The moment you've let go that you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
You ask for someone's help.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. Now. That is your student teacher.
Okay, so imagine you as a shift manager. This is getting really into detail.
Nah, it's just fine.
Imagine you're shift manager. You have an insubordinate who's just not following you, but you tell your GM, but then your GM doesn't know how to handle the situation either. So therefore, it's just
bad. For me, I was there. I was in that position where I was the assistant and I ended up running the store. And honestly, there's two ways you could go about it. I found out being in that center point, like you're the middleman. Mm-hmm. The best way to do it is just be in front of just go straight to this person, be like, hey, I really need you to work on this because this and that.
Right.
And if you still didn't change, and even if my GM was not doing anything about it, I was gonna make sure it's known that this person
is a shitbag.
Huh? Not a shitbag. It's like he need the what do you call it? We're very competitive people, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So my way of teaching them is I need to beat them in their game. If that makes sense.
So
if you feel like you're really good, you're doing something wrong, but you're like, oh, I'm doing this fine. Yeah. Man, I will step in your station and do that the right way and beat you to it.
Okay.
So again, you gotta put yourself in that position, and then you're like, okay, this is where you could be at. But the thing is, you like to do things the wrong way.
Right.
So it's just like a lot of people will learn from it's more a friendly competition. They have to tell themselves that they need to learn.
Okay.
It's just compare and contrast.
Right.
And that's something you've shown that when I used to work with you. We've always been in random competitions at work. I remember working with you. We just do some weird random competitions.
I don't know. No. I kind of remember, to be honest.
Which is fine.
It was a while ago to me.
No, which is fine because my details and memory is selective to the part where I learn things.
Yeah, because you stayed that route, the noodles path. So it's really there for you. I've been very sporadic in my endeavors.
We all have our path going to the same place, but it's the concept of that friendly competition really made things work.
So put it to someone who lacks motivation. In terms of, you and I, it worked because we're competitive. Yeah. Say someone who, is just lazy.
Well, the thing is, again, you got to get yourself down in that position. You got to understand the person. Why are they lazy? Uh-huh. Most of the times, laziness is it's, what's the word for it? It's the result of what you said, being caught in a different way, where it's lazy meaning they don't want to do it. It's lazy because they're scared of the answers for it. A lot of people are scared.
Elaborate on that one.
Again, it's back to fear,
Okay.
They fear that they're going to be hurt. They fear they're going to be tired. They fear they're not going to like what's going to happen. It's...
Okay.
Think about it. People move.
Yeah.
We have to eat. We have to move. No one's ever born to just sit there. Even people that sit there want to do something.
Right.
It could be, but they do things that are comfortable for them.
Yeah.
Even lazy people are good at something.
Yeah.
They either figure out a way to do something or, So let's say I'm right now I'm generalizing as being lazy. What do you mean by lazy?
So, I guess put in perspective, I'm gonna put it in an office setting.
Okay.
Say
somebody's just not performing.
Right.
Just running behind.
Yeah.
Okay, well, honestly, for the most part, when it comes to a professional setting, honestly, it's not that they're lazy. It's just that it's not their thing.
So
they got to figure out that.
I understand that very well, but then
how do you get them to move?
Yeah, how do you get them to go faster?
So is it on your same level, under you?
To put it in perspective, let's do say you're a supervisor. And then you have employees underneath you, but you also have a longer chain of command above you.
Yeah. Okay, so there's just one person just lagging the end of the group.
Right. Yeah. You want someone to be better.
Okay. So what I do in my store is.
So again, almost a shift manager.
No. It's to me. Yeah. Let's say I'm a shift manager.
Yeah.
I let it be known that it's free for my team members to talk to this person.
What do you mean?
Who would you listen to if, let's say this, if your boss told you that you need to move faster, or if the person in the same position as you going dude, you gotta keep up, man. You're holding us behind.
Okay, so it's most of a teamwork thing.
Yeah,
it's almost they learn that.
Yeah, it's because if somebody's lazy,
let me ask you this: pulling everyone else down.
Every time somebody's lazy, you know, this is where human resources come in.
Yeah.
When somebody's lazy, you don't like. You hear from it from somebody else, like, you know.
You find someone
because if you're in charge of someone, they start working. Like,
yeah.
You know, somebody will, like, there's always, like, you know, when there's smoke, there's fire.
Yeah.
Somebody goes, John, man, like, this dude's just not, you know, like, keeping up.
Right.
So I tell him, cool, go tell him. It's like, what do you mean? I was like, let him know how you feel, because in the end of the day, you know, it's either he's gonna fall off on his own.
Yeah.
Like I said, I don't fire people. Like when people leave, like, you know, my store, it's because it's in their own action.
Okay.
You have had to been like doing something like where you don't want to grow.
Yeah.
That, you know, really thrown you off the wheel, you know, the wagon. So the thing is, you don't have to just be A, B, me to you.
Yeah.
You know, like, you got to use resources around you. Like, if this person asked me that, I'm just like, okay, now there's two people that's going to grow.
Right.
Now you have this person that could identify a problem, but doesn't know how to resolve it.
Okay.
So a lot of people can identify problems. Honestly, everyone in the world likes to identify problems.
Yeah.
That's why there's people that are always triggered about things. Just like, oh, man, but not everyone does something about it. And which is,
they don't act on their
like, you know, if it really, like, does it really bother you that much?
Or
if you're not doing anything about it, or you just want to be heard, you know, there's a different story. So, and that's one thing you would identify with this person telling you, like, hey, this person's not keeping up.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, it's either you just want to talk about someone, or you want this store to be stronger.
Yeah.
Okay, you go talk to them, you know, let them know, like, if you need to help them, you know, if we have to teach them, let's teach them. So my rule with teaching is this: first, I'll show you.
Right.
Second, I'll remind you.
Yeah.
Third time, you're bullshitting me.
Okay.
If I have to teach you something a third time, you just, you know, you won't even be in a store.
Okay.
You won't even be part of this group, because in the end of the day, what fuels growth in my store is literally just that group of people. I don't know, you just see things as a whole.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, we like sometimes we get lost with the A and B thing.
Yeah.
It's like, but you can't clone yourself A and B all the time and everyone's the same.
That's something I really admire about you. Because with your feeling part, even though I don't understand all the time, by me focusing on the details, I kind of put some things on microscopes. So I only see things as what I see versus, like you just said, see the thing as a whole. Yeah. Okay, and then utilizing everyone around you as a team versus just like, all right, I'm in charge of this guy, so that I only have me. Like, I'm the only bond or the only way to get through him. Again, it's detachment to the ego. You know, once you tell yourself, I don't have all the answer, right?
Man, it's the best feeling in the world, because now you're using all your resources. You know, like, it's like you don't always have to be the answer to the world. Okay. You know, because the world you're looking at is only a perspective of you.
That makes sense. Because
but the world is made out of everyone, so.
Yeah. Okay. Like, for me, like, everything that I'm doing, so my day job, I don't really talk to people. I'm literally sitting at my desk and I do, like, computer work. And then my training job is me versus my client. I think what I'm really trying to do now is trying to get my clients to mingle, yeah,
like start trading ideas,
right.
Which is, like, if you want to study how to get like a good, like group like mentality, these are things I learned from like a way a dojo setting is set up, the way martial arts set up. Okay. So you have, like, you know, put in position. You have a master. Yeah. You have your advanced students, and then you have, you know, the master never, like,
he never really speaks.
Well, he never really teaches
he doesn't
the
have
whole
to,
class.
Yeah.
You know, the thing is, your basics is taught by your advanced students. Well, because when you teach, you learn more.
Right.
You know, so it's a chain of command. It's a cascading information. Okay. But, you know, and even then, the master knows that he doesn't have all the answer, because the younger people could relate to younger people better. Right. You know, like, it's interesting, like, being like studying that plus being part of it. Yeah. Because at first I was like, Sifu, why are you getting me to teach these people? Right. He's like, go teach them how to do this punch. I was like, I don't even understand it. But afterwards I was showing them, I was like, oh, I understand it now. Yeah. I was like, exactly. I was like, cool. So it's just,
this is why I like martial arts.
Yeah, it's again, it's just
because it's a way of thinking that it's foreign to, like I say, the Western philosophy, the Western style of thinking.
Yeah, actually, it's funny because I saw a post the other day where it's like, any sport, right? Any sport, you put two teams against each other, like two fans, different fans next to each other,
like football fans.
First thing they do is they argue,
right?
You know, but like or like teams from people from different teams. The first thing they do is like blah blah blah.
Yeah.
You know, like real martial arts that let go of that concept of it's a competition.
Yeah.
I guess I can't say real martial arts because everyone can do martial arts.
Right. So
some people but the people that take martial arts in the way they take life.
Okay.
The way they live their life.
Yeah.
Man, you put them next to each other, it's
peace.
You gotta you gotta go there one. I think there's one February.
What?
But the interaction is so. It's very like it's very light.
Unifying.
It's the first thing is this. Oh, you study this?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Can you show me or
Yeah.
And they just teach each other. It's like
that's how I initially felt about powerlifting.
Yeah.
But as of recently, there has become elitist.
Yeah, there becomes an ego thing, right?
Yeah, ego thing.
And you like that's where I learned about. I was like, well, I could bring this to outside. It's like instead of competing with this person, I want to learn from them.
Right.
I mean, I'm also selective of who I learn from.
Right.
Like there has to be proof. Like again, you can't just call yourself a master and I have to learn from you.
Right. You can't just listen to everyone. Like, you have that judge.
If you observe their actions and the results of their action, and you're just like, I want to learn whatever this person is doing.
Yeah.
Which is back to my project for myself.
So you get to pick and choose what you like about them and then incorporate it into your own style.
I guess it's more like just do what you're doing.
Yeah.
I don't want to pick and choose. Like it's weird. Do not pick and choose. It's do what you're doing. Identify what you're doing that you've mastered and just do it. Like it's just doing.
Yeah.
Which is go and do, which is being in the moment.
Yeah.
When you're in the moment, you're just doing something. You could say you're not doing anything, but you're breathing.
Yeah.
You're thinking. You're
something is happening.
There's always something.
You're alive.
In that
if your heart is beating, you're alive.
Exactly. That's what being alive is.
Yeah.
There's living and being alive. People that are living, they're just they're living. But people that are alive is like the one that like, oh crap, I'm breathing. Like the people like the best people to talk to are the people that've been through like near-death experience.
Yeah.
Those people are alive. Like
yeah.
Man, those guys are just like, yep, I'm just doing this because. I figured I could have died.
I've accepted it. Yeah, you just accepted it.
But imagine doing that without being in that near-life, near-death experience.
Okay, that I guess that's another issue. That's not really an issue, but it's like
it's being collared by society at this point. We're in a level where society is where we're very comfortable. But you don't have the dangers of being eaten by a tiger walking outside in the forest.
Yeah.
Back then you're just like, yo, I could walk there. I could literally die because of some weird animal. So it's like.
I guess for me, what I said earlier is like I want to get the person into that ending zone. Or not ending zone, but more like that life-threatening zone. Not like I want to hurt them, but more like I want them to feel that way so they know, to realize.
Okay, so the way I relate to them when I'm training people is this. Okay, so what's everything to you? And you don't have to. I don't even have to ask you that question.
Yeah.
The first thing you talk about, if I ask you, what do you like to do? That's everything to you. Like whatever you're most comfortable with talking.
Yeah.
That is what everything is for you. But if you break that down, if I tell you you're not the best at that, you figure out that holy crap, there's more things to learn about it.
Yeah.
That's the same as death. Plateauing is the same as death. Like like not growing anymore is the same as death.
Okay.
It's if you're not moving, you're either moving or not moving.
Right.
If you're not moving, you're dead. Like
Yeah, yeah.
A lot of people plateau inside. They're dead. They're like it's like, I'm comfortable where I'm at. You're basically dead. Like, what you're going to do, you're not, you get the same job over and over until you're like 60-something and you're just like, blah.
I'll relate this to my third episode is with the physical therapist I work with. He said, if you're not moving, atrophy is winning.
Yeah.
And then just meaning like, if you're ever injured, don't ever just bed rest.
Yeah.
Like, no matter how hurt you are, just keep moving.
Yeah.
No matter how little it is. Because you'll end up being one of those people who are stuck in the hospital bed or stuck in bed because now you're stiff. Now your muscles don't know how to act.
So in the physical realm, that's what happens.
Yeah.
Now when you take that to the mental and the spiritual realm, it's the same thing.
Yeah. Okay.
Once you have accepted that you've you know,
accepted yourself.
There's two ways. Like, you know, you could plateau by being successful, and you could plateau by failing hard.
Right.
But the moment you don't move,
then
you're dead. You know, it's like I was going through this phase where I really did not like where I was at because I was always second in a lot of things. Honestly, in the whole concept of life, I felt like I was second.
You always felt like an underdog? Come away?
I would say underdog, but like...
But you were still top tier.
The way I was looking at it was like, you know, how come I was never the best? How come I, you know, the awards or this or that? I was like, or, you know, let's say call me relationship John. I was like, man, I'm always like, just like...
So close to happiness.
Yeah, it's like...
So close to that.
It's like, I could be that. There was a time where after like talking to someone or dating someone... Yeah. They find the love of their life afterwards. They get married or something. It's hilarious.
I know that feeling.
So I was like, man, I am always second. Where'd I fall short?
Right.
Where do I, you know? And for a couple of years, I was holding it as a baggage. I was like, well, I'm gonna feel anyway, whatever, you know. Like I dude, I plateaued to the point where it's like, why do this if I'm not gonna be the best? Like even work, like, you know, like. It took me forever to get promoted to assistant because as a shift manager, I was doing assistant manager things. Right. And then people were getting promoted as assistant. I'm just like, okay, what am I doing wrong? You know, like I questioned myself. Like, I remember that. And I was like, well, I'm doing this. The thing is, I was doing that so well that they weren't seeing the growth. It was just like it's so constant that it was just like, oh, this is just John. You know, the people that I noticed that was moving up is the people that go like nowhere. They learn something, and then nowhere, then they learn something. Like people that are just the reason why you go up is because you grow. You know? Right. So I was like, holy crap, this is where it is. Like, so it hit me. I was like, yo, being second is not bad. Because being at first, you get comfortable on top of that mountain. Right. You know,
you get complacent.
There's always gonna be somebody always beats you. Like somebody out there is always better than you in something. Right. You know, in that concept. Yeah. But if you're second, you know, you always have somebody to aim at to beat, but at the same time, you have the humility to keep going. But at the same time, you're not crap. You're not bottom of, not bottom of the pile. You're not like bottom of the barrel. Okay. You know, I was like, being second is actually not. Like I almost felt like, being second makes you grow really, like right. But only once you get, the moment you get that perspective. Yeah. That's where it was very useful for me. I was like, being second is not bad. I was like, I always had something to aim for. Right. I always had something like, oh, you could do that. I'm going to do that next week.
So at this point, you're loving the process rather than being number one.
Dancing in the music, right?
Okay.
You're moving. You're going up and down. Sometimes it's hard to see the bigger picture. Sometimes that's when the picture was so small. I'm just like, the way you're saying that you're in a microscope. Like, why am I? But now it's just like, whoa, there's a bigger picture. That's which I fell off in a certain part of my life last couple months where I was just so focused on that one part that I didn't notice I was, being in somewhere else. It's just a growing process. There's always an up and down, different aspects of life. But
that makes me curious now about my normal question that I ask. It's that 5 questions. Like, who are the 5 closest people you associate with? Because the way that you think it's really interesting to me, and I want to figure out how other people think that way, and I want to give them like 5 close people that they should do. I'll tell you what the common theory for the other ones are.
5 closest people to me
that you associate with,
like in a way of where my mentality comes from, ideals.
Yeah, like who do you see yourself thinking about the most, like within a week? Like on a daily basis or a week?
Most definitely a person to reflect from is Rob.
Robbie?
Yeah, Rob is very opposite of me. Mm-hmm.
So it kind of humbles you in a way.
Yeah, because he
gives you the alternate perspective.
Well, he's good at the things I'm bad at. Okay. Yeah. So that's where I go second place for myself. A lot of people that I'm around is because I'm second placing myself to them.
So you're in a way, how I think of it, but it's more like you're surrounding yourself with people who are better than you, so you become better.
In certain aspects, okay.
In certain aspects, not
so let's say with Rob, I see him as someone where I could learn from being extrovert, introvert.
Right.
Another one is Sandy, girl I dated.
Okay.
What thing with her is she was on the opposite perspective. Like, she knew how to feel. Like you're talking about, like, feel the whole thing.
Right.
I didn't understand that until I got to meet her, really.
So she knows how to see the vision as a whole versus the details?
It's more like being, you learn people by feeling rather than labeling, like, the very esoteric ways of thinking.
Okay. So just that almost unique style of thinking that made you think in a different way.
It's just very opposite of me. She's like, if I think one thing, she thinks the other, and
Okay.
But it's in an esoteric way, not in like a physical way. Right. In where we are right now, we agree on a lot of things.
So your first two are basically your opposites, or not really opposites, but someone who thinks someone really different.
The funny thing is, most of them are opposites.
Yeah. Okay.
And,
I was going to get to that. I saw the theme already.
So
but
most
keep
definitely, the top part in there is Sifu.
Okay.
For him, it's the opposite of where as where I am I guess looking for where I'm going, or more like Sifu means guide,
right?
It's not master, and on that part he is my teacher, and I'm a student. But what I learn from his thing is we learn from each other, all the time, and he teaches me things, I learn things, and it's in that manner I learned how to teach better, or I learned how to teach myself life. So, and then work-wise, it's weird. I guess it's more of an amalgamation of people that I've worked with. I can't say a person.
Okay.
But because you're saying like closest people to me. Again, I'm very.
You're very feeling. So
well, I'm very
hard to go detail for you.
Well, I'm very detached.
Yeah.
Especially if I get in some kind of relationship, I'm very just with that person. I'm attached to that person, but everybody else almost disappears.
Yeah.
And if I'm not with that person, I'm already detached myself. Like my interactions with you guys is very, I wouldn't say limited, but it's very like today, like, hey, Bryan, what are you doing? It's not like I wake up, it's like, oh man, I gotta go hang out with these people.
Right.
It's like, the moment I feel like hanging out with someone, then it happens. So I can't. Yeah. So I guess.
But so your main three is basically Rob, Sandy, and
and then
Sifu.
Very influential because they're very opposite of me in that certain perspective of life.
Okay.
As where I'm student with Sifu, he is my teacher.
Okay.
And where he's at, it's almost like where I want to be, but it's like a dichotomy stuff.
Yeah.
There's always a back and forth with these guys, and then work-wise is the same, but it's more amalgamation of people that I like my bosses.
Right.
I guess I take the information, but if it'd be easier to answer if I didn't have my own store, and then.
I mean, not even like specific like work-wise, more like who influenced you to be you.
Who influenced me to be me?
Yeah. Anyone that really like. I guess
somebody that I observe, like, it's the thing is like, other than those three, like talking the most, it's.
Or who would you say you talk to the most within a week?
Within a week?
Mm-hmm.
Again, I'm like very into my bubble, but I like to observe people and it's almost like I look at them as.
So you don't really talk to anyone besides those three?
Huh?
Really?
Well, like
on a daily basis.
On a daily, no, actually no.
Yeah.
Like other than when I was dating someone, but this is a random one. But honestly, like Vincent.
Okay.
It's in a manner of
your nephew.
Yeah, little awesome kid.
How old is he now?
He is 7. Yeah.
But
at this part of my life where I was learning things, like me, I'm like with me and my niece and nephew, like I'm always like talking about them. Yeah. But one thing with Vincent that I've learned from, like, like that take within, is when he sees something, he wants to do it, he does it. Yeah. So he's almost like the personified version of that dope piece. Like, like being a child, you can do whatever you see something, want. You just do it without. You're a blank slate. You're an empty canvas. Exactly. So look, it's like that. Yeah. And then, in that manner, like actually, like Vincent, like I watch him grow. I'm just like, man, that is so cool. Solid. And then the fifth one actually, I don't know what aspect, like. No, just 4. 4 is fine. This is really. This is funny because you were telling me, like, this is a hard question. It is. I'm just like, like. Other than that, it's just it branches off from those people, like. But I guess you could say, like not to take Sifu's answer, but half of the time, before I even get to talk to any of these guys, it's yourself. I argue with myself more. Like, why the hell are you doing this? I was surprised you didn't say that yet. But that makes sense. That makes sense. It's back to that. I don't know if it's just a result of training under Sifu, like that Guaji thing. Like, it's honestly, there's more arguments within myself of my ego versus what I want to do. Like, though. I think in order to be able to detach, you have to fight your own demons. Yeah. And then if you can find the light, basically what you talk about, you are your biggest enemy. Yep, you are. Like, that's what, like, you ever go shadow boxing, dude? Shadow boxing is, a lot of people look at it as like a cardio thing. Shadow boxing is, you go in the mirror, let's say with boxing, like, you throw things. You're literally fighting yourself. You throw things. You're fighting your imagination. To block yourself. Yeah. Because it's true, it is. You are your biggest enemy, but in the notion of you are your limiter. Going back to your mindset limits you to what you think you can do. Who Bryan is your limiter. So that's why I was like, I'm gonna break that limit. Like who John is that that I know, that I could tell you my story from when I was young all the way up. That is my limiter. It's so weird. It's the funny thing with me specifically, I feel like because I don't know. I always feel like I never had a limit until I find a weakness. And to me, it's not even a limiter. It's more like it's something I have to focus on. Yeah. And it was always to the point where, like, when you were saying you always felt number 2, like, the reason why I can ask that question too is like when I joined the Marines. Oh, I did it. What's next? I felt that emptiness. I felt the void. Oh, I broke the state powerlifting record. Oh, what next? Yeah. Oh, I became a manager. Oh, I mean, there's higher manager levels, but that was like, what next? Yeah. Because it didn't fulfill me, and I just speak on the other side of it. Yeah. And it's interesting. It's always the what next, right? Yeah, it's always the what next until I find what really moves me. And then it was like personal training. It wasn't really specifically personal training to getting other people stronger or getting them losing weight. It was more of this connection where I could kind of like what your last name is, get them to see the light. Yeah, like, then this really fulfills me. And I was like, this is awesome. That's what it is. It's, honestly, I believe that's, if you look at it as in a scientific way. Yeah. If you look at it as just, the way we look at animals, like the way of their survival, they don't think of, how they're gonna survive now. Yeah. These they live in the moment. No. These things, like these animals, like their focus is reproduction. Through reproduction, you have, survival of the fittest. You have, like basically, think of it again, bigger picture. Okay. Evolution-wise. Yeah. It's never the strongest, the fastest, or that are here now. No. It's the most adaptive. True. Evolution. Yeah. Right? Okay. So how do you don't evolve yourself in this moment. So, that's what, like, as humans, the way we think is very adaptive, where we could build tools so we could adapt to situation, which is why, we're here at this moment, like not being overpowered by like other random robots.
Killer robots.
Polar bears. I don't even care.
Backflipping robots.
But we adapt, which is the reason why we're here, honestly. But, with them, they pass down, once you reproduce, while you're alive, obviously you did something right. Once you reproduce, you pass that down to the next generation, next generation, next generation. So the way they do that in a lifetime, what we do is we do it through experience and information.
Right.
That's
your lineage. That's in a way your legacy. What people think about, but not specifically what they think about.
It's funny. It's letting go of things. Okay, we'll go back to that. Yeah. So I was talking about the Sifu like a couple maybe months ago, a year ago.
Yeah.
But I was like, it hit me. I was like, what you do now, what you have now is only the fruits of the labor of the people before you.
Right.
You don't get to enjoy your successes.
Right.
The people that enjoy your successes, the people afterwards.
Right.
The next generation.
Right.
So the more you keep doing that, the more you learn, the more you enjoy successes. Mm-hmm. Right. So, you could put that in any perspective. You could, let's say, business-wise.
Yeah.
Let's say I built this business. Now it's up here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm getting old, but now there's a format. So the next person that takes over is enjoying. Let's say Apple right now. They're enjoying the format they're doing. They're making money still.
Okay.
Now the way they pass it on to the next person in charge, the way they're going to grow. So that's a business standpoint. But in a martial arts standpoint, let's say, like Sifu, he developed something over 20 years.
Yeah.
He teaches it to me in like a year or two.
Mm-hmm.
And I always have more things to learn. But now the basic concept of what he put together in 20 years, he packed it so he could teach it to me. So now I get to build off of it.
Right.
So whatever I do in the next 20 years, let's say, I get to teach that to the next generation in a smaller amount of time, but they keep building off of it.
Right.
So in the end of it, that's evolution through experience.
Yes.
So same way you're teaching, basically. Are you saying like PT or...
The goal is to not keep the student. The goal is literally to teach the student so they can learn from themselves and teach others the same processes.
Teach them how to learn. Don't teach them.
Yeah.
It's weird, right?
I'm gonna steal a question from my man. Tim Ferriss.
Okay.
You have a billboard. You have a giant billboard in New York. What would you have it say? So being very detail oriented, I'm giving you a detailed question now.
Awesome. So, billboard in New York. Would I be someone that isn't that influential?
Say again.
So to be in a billboard in New York, I guess I have to be someone influential.
Not necessarily. Just say you have access to a billboard, and you want a message to be heard. What would you have it say? It wouldn't say like your name. It wouldn't say anything. It just have to be whatever.
Man,
not even necessarily words.
It's weird because honestly, one thing that I've always said to everyone in like different times, different mannerisms, is learn the difference of knowing and understanding.
Knowing versus understanding?
Yeah, like, something...
So understanding a concept versus, like, reading something out of a book?
So we're going back to words, right? Just two words is always similar, but they mean very different things.
Okay.
You could see something and look for something, but it's not the same. You could hear something or listen to something, it's not the same.
Okay.
So...
Understand the underlying meaning versus...
Knowing something and understanding something. The difference...
Understanding the underlying meanings, yes?
Mm-hmm. No, it's experience. That's the difference between the two. It's action and different of knowing and understanding is execution.
Right.
You know something because you read it. The person that wrote that understood it.
Yes.
You know it because you read it. But to understand that, you have to go through that process.
Right.
Right?
So, like I said, understanding the underlying meaning of a passage of
I guess
something.
Like when you say underline, I guess I was
understand the meaning behind what is being said.
Yeah,
or the concept.
Well, I guess for me it's because you could know that too, but it's like until you experience it, it's.
I guess in my point of view, like for me to understand the underlying meaning, what I mean by that, understand what means behind it, like not just like the word itself, like we said, bark, bark.
Yeah.
It's understanding that concept is bark as in the tree, because I've known what a tree is, or bark as in the noise, the frequency from a dog.
Yeah.
because I know that. And again, that's like how we just differentiate on how we understand things. So like it's that knowing versus what you said. Knowing versus understanding.
And the difference to me, honestly, is just.
I understand what you said, but I just think about it differently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
which is cool because it's back. It's still dichotomy. It's a lot of things are that way.
That's proof that you can have an argument, but mean the same thing.
Honestly, everything in the world is an argument, but they're all on the same path. Like like everyone is arguing because they're trying to put something that's good for each other.
No, I want to say more of ego, just to prove that they're right.
Well, not just right, but like they're right, but they're like their main goal.
They want to say their way is
their main goal is I'm right because but the root is I want to make the world better, but I'm right this way. If they've ever,
not everyone thinks that way. Not everyone wants to make the world better. That's very optimistic.
Again, what's right for you is different from what's right for me.
That is true.
But your vision of what's right and wrong could be completely opposite.
Yeah.
But the concept of having the world go a certain way.
I heard this actually line from Larry King. No one ever thinks they're wrong.
Yeah. And
he put like perspective of like Hitler. There's no way Hitler thought he was saving the world.
It's funny because I always use that. Example when I'm talking to people about
that birthday thing.
It's like I was talking to them like about right or wrong. It's just perspective. The world is just perspective. Like, again, like if people put their perspective aside and they just come together, the world will be a better place. Only because we're actually going to the same path. We just like to do things completely different way.
Yeah.
So like good and bad. Again, right now we believe the U.S. Allied forces were good, and Nazis were bad,
right?
Because
we were taught that.
Well, they lost the war.
That too.
Like there's this quote. It's whoever wins the war gets to write history.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So
or it depends on the perspective of whoever's writing it. If you're on the American side, you're gonna say we were good.
Yeah,
the German side would be like,
even if they're actually bad, they're in charge of writing down the history.
Right.
They're in charge of labeling what's good and what's bad.
Right.
So that's the bigger picture. But in a smaller argument, let's say that it's the same.
Like who won the war? Though?
it's the same thing. It's like who gets to write history is who wins the war. But if you let go of the idea of a conflict,
winning versus losing,
you're actually on the same page. Like it's so weird. It's just.
They were fighting for like almost the same thing, but then they were just saying who won or who was better.
Yeah, like
firstly, being good.
It's like how can you fight each other if you can't even fight your ego? So now your ego is just fighting each other.
Right.
So but the thing is, you're like again back to the light. Your light doesn't ever want. Lights don't ever want to fight each other.
Okay.
It's like like the Bible, like 10 Commandments.
Yeah.
Or anything in there.
Yeah.
It's funny because anything in there, if you take away society, you take away ego, you don't even need that rule. You don't like no one wakes up and was like, I'm gonna steal something today. Like no one does that. Or I'm gonna
I need food.
Like any crime, like there's your instinct when you have food and somebody doesn't have food, you want some.
Yeah. Right.
That's your natural instinct.
Right.
But now when it comes to having an ego, it's like, this dude got this new pair of Jordans or whatever. Yeah. I'm gonna steal it.
No, I really like those Jordans. I need them now.
Yeah, because society thinks it's good, so I need to be good. So it's an ego thing. Yeah, so like even people killing someone because they're either jealous of something or they want to be better than that person, or it's always just like once you take out that outside noise from yourself and you finally get your light to tell your ego, like, calm down, like just like.
So I got you. So
it's like your natural instinct is actually to help each other, Right. So if everybody actually decided to grow as a person individually, instead of trying to take care of the whole world as a whole to make it better, the whole world actually, it's the opposite answer. It's always the opposite answer what we're doing.
This I feel like it'll kind of segue to this question I want to ask. So you're 27 now, right?
Yep.
So say advice to yourself freshman year in high school.
My advice was
so that's like 16 years old. 27 to 16-year-old John.
Honestly, that would be the same advice. I'd be like, you listen to your dose. I guess I would have to explain that to myself back then, but it's like,
would you say like get into martial arts at a young age, or?
It would be more like do what you want to do in that moment.
Did you feel like you did it?
There's a lot of things that I didn't get to do because I thought about it.
You overthought it.
Yeah, it's like
paralysis by analysis type of thing.
Yeah, like most definitely. Like, they still do it.
Yeah.
It's like,
I understand that. Yeah.
If I could talk to myself when I was younger, if every year of my life I could go back and talk to myself, just to remind myself, what do you want to do? What do you want to do today?
Right.
Go do it. What do you want to do today? Go do it. Like, it's, that's the difference of being open-minded and clear-minded.
Right.
I don't know if I explained. I was talking about this, right?
Yeah.
A lot of people go out here and just like, oh yeah, I'm open-minded. I was like, yeah, there's open-minded, there's clear-minded. It's like having
perspective.
It's like having a plant, right, in a glass box.
Yeah.
It would still grow, but it could only grow to the limitation of that box.
Right.
But when you're open-minded, you open up that box. Like,
you can plant it outside.
No. You just literally open up the box. The plant is going to grow farther than where the box is.
Oh, okay.
That's where you
put it in a full box. You're not just like the soil box.
Yeah, so like a lot of people is like, oh yeah, I'm very open-minded to doing things. Like, I myself is one of those people. At some point, like in some aspect of my life, I'm still the same. Like, that's what I want to break with my limit breaking project right now.
Gotcha.
I don't want that glass box anymore.
Okay.
Like, I could see clear.
Yeah.
But am I actually executing? So it's knowing and then understanding again.
Okay.
It's if I could, if I go back in time and tell myself that, like, every second, like, the moment I could think of doing something.
Yeah.
If I go back every moment in my life, I just go do it.
Yeah.
Because again, it's in the bigger picture. If somebody was just like, I support that.
Yeah.
It'd be a different story.
Okay.
But society is the other way. It's like, don't do that. That's not cool. Just that's weird.
Okay.
Just like, wow, embrace the weird, man.
So saying with your what you said, you like to analyze and observe everything around you. Mm-hmm. Similar question, what would you say to a new college grad in this year of 2018?
That's funny.
Yeah. So because I feel like we think differently. Like every generation, almost like every year,
a college
they think
graduate.
different.
So they graduated from what they wanted, or
they went through 4 years of school, so meaning they're 22. So not you.
Yeah.
11 years ago.
Yeah, I was with a person who was like that.
Yeah.
And it's the funniest thing. It's like, that is one of the things I asked. Like, so, the first thing is like, I got to go to grad school. Cool.
Okay.
But for me, it's more the question of the reasoning behind it,
Yeah.
Is the reason for you to go to grad school because you want to further yourself?
Right.
Or was the reason because everybody else was like grad school?
What was their answer? Just curious.
What was their answer was, well, I feel
Did
like...
she want to follow the social norm, or was it actually she wanted to grow?
She was, honestly, I've never had a clear answer. I think it's just
everyone's
lost.
She's still growing. Okay.
Yeah.
So, that makes sense.
But every time that conversation came about, my thing was like, well, what do you feel like doing?
Yeah.
What do you really feel like doing right now at this moment? If you feel like you don't go that route right now, school's not going anywhere.
Right.
Do you want to do it, or what do you feel like doing? Like,
Yeah.
What's important to you at this moment? So, I guess that's what I would ask them. Anybody, like, because I've come across working people that graduated, and I'm interviewing them, and I'm just like, cool, what do you want to do with your life? Well, I just graduated, and honestly, I don't know. I'm trying to figure it out. It's like, cool.
It's from high school or college for the people at Noodles?
Some high school, some college, and it's just like, I've had people that, went culinary school and just like,
I want to get my feet wet, try to get in the industry type of thing.
Because, it's because the moment you pick, they tell you to take a major.
Yeah.
Man, and now you're just focused on that.
Now you're looking
thing.
at your future self, and then you're comparing yourself.
Well, now you just close your box.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Now you're just like, well, this is my profession. I'm not going to do anything else. It's like, that's cool. So what do you want to do now? Like, that's one thing where I had to let go of myself lately. You can tell I'm excited to talk about this. I was frustrated with myself. Like I said, I played football, did martial arts. I did art, and there's times I want to go back where I felt like I was good in one of those moments. And I feel like I can't do it now as well as before.
Yeah.
And what I was doing was going against the flow.
Yeah.
Because
you had an image in your head.
Well, at that moment,
the end?
when I was, feel like I was doing good at a certain aspect of things, I was doing good because I was super into it, and that's what I wanted to do in the moment.
Right.
Then it shifts. Let's say I was doing art, and then it shifted to, oh man, I'm playing football.
Yeah.
And then, slowly I was starting to think, oh, maybe I'm not as good at this point, at this thing, and then I'm better at another thing.
Yeah.
Comes down to meditation, martial arts, almost cooking, or oh man, I feel like I don't have a passion for this thing anymore. Mm-hmm. So we get so focused on oh man, I lost that passion.
Right.
It's what? Then we feel discouraged.
Yeah.
What we're doing is we're not letting the flow happen. We're holding on to what we thought we were good at. Our ego is holding on to our success at a certain aspect that we don't want to change to the next one. Maybe I'll be good at baking tomorrow. I don't know if I felt like it. Or
make some cookies.
Yeah, if I wake up tomorrow, I'm just
bake some
you
cakes.
Know what I'm gonna do?
I'll make a 10-layer cake, bro.
Yeah, honestly, seriously, you've done that.
The super frosting.
I'm not even kidding. I know everyone that would probably be watching this have woken up and just I'm gonna do this, and you did it, and it's the best you could do at the moment, and you're so proud of it.
Yeah.
Only because that literally is your self-expression at the moment, and and it just came out that way.
I can honestly remember the first time I actually cooked at Noodles.
Yeah.
I was like, this is so exciting. I know how to make pasta now.
Yeah, but at some point, again, the plateau point.
Make it fancy.
So it's you get to learn everything, but to learn everything is to get to know yourself.
Yeah.
All of those things that you've done in your life connects.
Right.
As you.
Yeah.
And as a concept, that's it. That's your light. So I guess my advice is again, be the flow. Just the moment you feel like you're only down because your ego is holding on to your success.
Yeah.
Let go of that success and be successful somewhere else that you're doing at the moment.
That is a common theme that I have to say to all my new lifters. If I ever get a new client, the first thing I always tell them is drop your ego. I don't care what what you've been through. Drop everything you know.
You can't learn if
you're
blank.
There. Yeah.
You can't learn if you're there already, right? Everyone has their own place destination.
If you think you know something and I'm trying to teach you, you're just going to fight me.
Yep.
And then you'll never learn.
Yep. And, and everybody, I go through that all the time. I'm just that's why, my practice to myself lately is John, step back.
Yeah.
It's not unlearning. It's just, it's there already. That was one of the things, okay, with the punch. I remember talking to Sifu about this, and it's so weird because he already knew what his answer was before I even finished it.
Yeah.
It's Sifu, before when I was punching the punching bag when I first started, I could feel the impact and I would feel sore and I'm just oh man.
Yeah.
Later on, learning
proper
way of punching, now, first punch was a punch.
Yeah.
Now learning about it. Now there's no recoil. Now all my energy is going forward.
Yeah.
There's no recoil in my body and speed's there, powers are but I feel like I'm not strong anymore. It's almost you ever had that dream where you're fighting someone, you punch them, and then it doesn't feel anything in your arm, so it feels like a weak punch? You ever had that dream?
I don't really dream often, to be honest, not anymore.
Okay. I mean, I don't know. I just have good memories of those weird things when I was a kid. But, I know some people have that dream where it's they're fighting someone, they punch them, and it's just it just feels like you're marshmallow.
Mm.
It's almost like that where, I went to Sifu, I was Sifu, I'm punching this thing. It just doesn't feel like I have the same impact. It's have I gotten weaker?
Yeah.
And his answer was no, actually it's the opposite.
You got stronger. Because now you're going through it.
Yeah, no,
you're going with your momentum.
Well, your body's just so adapted to it.
Yeah.
Proper form, and you're letting go all the energy forward instead of getting a recoil, to the point where it's let's say you would working out that soreness when you first start working out, and you're just oh man, this is cool, and then the moment you have to maintain it, where it just doesn't feel like it anymore, just oh man, this is weird.
For my example, in terms of powerlifting, it's the point where, as a man, the biggest lift you always want to do is bench.
Yeah.
If I have a 50-year-old client, and he would bench with his elbows flared out, and just he would complain about shoulder issues, initially, way back when, but then. It took him about a year of me telling him how to do correct form. He's oh, everything just got lighter. The weight that he thought was heavy now seems light.
Yeah.
So exactly what you were saying. But in terms of weight, you actually get stronger. But then now it's just everything's moving quicker, faster, more efficient.
Yeah, once you build your foundation, right?
Yeah.
You don't feel the struggles anymore.
Right.
So
now you're faster, but you're stronger.
Now let's bring that back to how we were talking. Now in life is the same way.
Yeah.
You know, when the first time you hit a opportunity, a roadblock in your life, it's that feeling of being weak. And then you're feeling the impact.
Yeah.
You get yourself together, build your foundation, build your technique, and now it doesn't feel like anything anymore. Now now you're on the opposite side of the dichotomy. Now you're just this doesn't feel like anything. It's we call it going plateauing.
Yeah.
And then you're just oh man, this sucks. Where people lose motivation.
Yeah.
People are motivated because you see the constant progress, but the moment you feel that, now your ego sets in. Because now it's oh, I've already done it. I don't got to learn. No, that's the point where you're how do I get myself out of there? It's so weird. It's you win both and you lose both at the same time. But the answer just keep flowing with it. It's weird.
Okay, I feel like it's not a bad thing, but I feel like we're getting to the point where we're getting redundant.
Well, it is.
Yeah, because we're just saying the same thing. Go with the flow, do your thing, dichotomy. I mean, it's definitely a point that I really want to get it across, and I knew you'd be the perfect person to talk about it with, just because of our dichotomy. Yeah. By thinking the same, but having two different paths of doing it. Okay. I think we're almost at 3 hours, to be honest. So I want to wrap it up.
I know you're going to finish this up, but from the beginning of this video and even the middle, I was the moment this thing comes together, I wanted to finish it as that actually. What? This whole format is literally just like life. It's up and down, different perspective, the same dichotomy, but in the end, the moment feels redundant because that is life. Yeah. It's
damn, you make me want to talk again.
No, but I just want to end it at that. It's in small pictures, we went through different topics. Right. That's how life is when we look at it in a minuscule sense. Yeah. You talk about esoteric now, and then the macro of the world. Yeah. This is it right here as a format. This is life. You go the way. That's it. This is it. If you understand it, man, kudos to you. That's awesome. Because, I hope everybody does. I hope at one point. Yeah. But a scatterbrain, this might feel it's actually exactly how life is. You go one to the other, and something I was telling them was we were talking about you just flow with it. We don't need a format because if your life has a format, that's not your life. That's somebody created. That means your life was a template. Yeah, that means you're a template of somebody, and then why are you living? So go be alive. It's the non-script of the life. Go do it. Just do what you feel. Yeah, exactly what we did.
I always like to leave something with you. Do you have any social media, anything that you want to express? Do you want to tell them to meet you at the Academy of Combat Technologies with Jimmy on Wednesdays at 8 p.m.?
Yeah, most definitely. If you guys come through, meet Sifu. The thing with me is, you have your own experiences. Learn. Just go through there, meet Sifu. I'm not one of those people that I have meet me, my social media, or if I run into you, if you've seen me, if you met me at some point, I'd love to talk to people. Just your experience is different from mine, so
I'll still add whatever Instagram at least. Okay. I'll add that at the bottom or at the link in the description.
Yep, you like being weird, follow.
It's it. That's something that I say.
My mixture of just things that I like to express. So Instagram is really freaking weird.
Cool.
Training and kids. Well, niece and nephew. That's training, niece and nephew, and other random adventures. So.
And we'll end it with this. If you like what you see, share it, like it, subscribe. And if you want to support me in this podcast and get more people on here to talk about this, you can go to sumoliftsapparel.com. I'm trying to make a new logo for the ketchup as well. So there'll be new apparel there. Support your boy.
Yep, do it. Share it. Share wisdom. There's no point of keeping them.
Until next time.
And that's 3 hours.